Snow melt, please. Yeah, I don't know what Ed's plan is for tonight.
He doesn't know either.
It's part of the charm, yeah. What's he look like? Oh, bad teeth, rosy red cheeks, fog-blown hair, yeah.
All right, so what's on the agenda here?
Oh, God. Lobbyists, and we have 800.
Yeah.
We have the same amount of electoral votes, right? Population's roughly like.
I think it's
Idaho's
probably pretty
got
close.
us by what, 300,000 people? Because Boise's huge. Boise's huge. I bet there's 1.6 in Idaho, maybe.
All right. Topics, measles.
2 million. And we're at what, 1 point something? Oh man, they got us doubled up.
Yeah. I just remember when it was like that census came back.
Well, I guess what the hell does Idaho need lobbyists for anyway?
Right, they're all Republican.
Right. We know what they're going to do. How are you, sir?
Did you catch that in the news today about the largest egg producer?
No, what happened?
Well, for the last 5 years, they've averaged about $6 million of profit.
Yeah. And let me guess what that is now.
So, Paris, do you do the clips? Is that what happens?
So that went up
He does
$100
the
million.
clips himself? No way.
Way more than that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
How do you decrease your profits?
You gouge your customers.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. You gouge them. I guess go buy some chickens. I guess, and that's crazy. Those are wing prices. We're talking about. Said the largest egg producer.
Yeah, I know. They're having windfall profits.
It went up like 150 million.
Apparently they're being investigated.
By who?
Yeah, by who?
Right. Fucking Colonel Sanders.
He's a capitalist. We have debates quite a bit. But he's lived in
Mic check, Ed.
But I think
Ed.
we have to wait.
We can wait. That's fine.
Let's wait. Let's see.
Mic check, Ed. Ed. If you can hear me, go get your free order of wings.
Free wings, free wings.
Free wings tonight. Oh, yep, mic's on.
Why is there no wings up here?
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy. All right. Okay.
It's because they're so small, the wings.
Oh, is that him back there?
What's that?
That's him back there?
Yeah.
Test. Testing me up. Testing. I'm testing away. Testing.
So Mike,
testing.
Mike's up front now.
Oh, Mike, you can sit over here. Why don't you
Well, I
be
mean,
on
he
the
can
camera?
sit there. He's just
I don't
True.
want to sit over there.
he's on the show
All right.
first now.
Yeah. Yes.
Good. Hey, you want to move over? We'll give you more room, get you away from that.
I'll be okay. I like sitting next to Ed.
Yeah, we smell good. Okay, guys, welcome to Beer Buds and the Big Sky podcast. Thanks for tuning in and watching us again and bearing with us.
This is episode 8.
This is 8. This is episode 8. Yep.
Eight times you've kept me passed up?
Yeah.
That's right. Well, it's worth it. We have 1,800 followers on Facebook now. That's not bad. Not too bad. Anyway, we're going to get right into it. We're going to get to the Montana stuff. That's why we got Mike on here for the whole show this time. We normally can only afford to get him for about 20, 30 minutes, but he's going to be with us all night.
His rates are going up.
They are going up without, well, he's got to pay more in property taxes, it's looking like anyway. We're going to get to
I
that.
just want more wings. I don't know why it's
Right.
so cheesy on the wings.
I know. I know. I'll be honest. The price surprises me as well, but they're tasty.
They are very good.
Okay, real quick. Let's just touch on the measles thing real quick because that's news. And
saw
there's
that.
5 cases of measles
5
in
cases. Gallatin County.
Gallatin County. You
They
know,
come from Texas?
I don't know where they. I did see there was some contact tracing. I think they went through Seattle or
yes,
Washington.
they came through Seattle. There wasn't much information on where they went there.
Yeah.
But then they said like they went to a Les Schwab and like something
Yeah.
else and like so imagine all those people that were around them are like, oh Jesus Christ, you know,
Yeah.
thanks. And this is it's a weird time with RFK
scary.
as our health secretary.
Has he released a statement yet?
No, I don't think he will because
ate my brain.
Anyway, I looked at some statistics on who gets vaccinated, who doesn't.
Right.
And to no surprise, the deep red states were pretty unvaccinated comparatively, but in every state, at least half the population was vaccinated.
Okay.
But I think it's like, you know, I don't know. Did I send an email to you guys?
You might have.
I don't remember. I thought I had these statistics, but anyway.
This
know where I
comes
would've
back
put
to a
that.
point I've been talking about for a while now. Is I don't even think we know. We haven't even scratched the surface on COVID and what
Right.
it did to this country. I think 25, 30 years from now, people are going to look back, at COVID and be like, "Oh, this is when there was a huge break."
Well, I think most people
in the
took the
populace.
vaccination is going to die in the next year or so.
It's clock's
I
ticking.
mean, that's what clock's ticking. I mean, it's kind of weird, but
Right.
you look at these states, they're, again, very undereducated, very poor,
Yeah.
very conservative, hardcore conservative. And, people have their own rights, I guess, but
Sure.
I mean, when you're in that much of a minority, doesn't it say something?
Like it's a little trickier when you're dealing with infectious disease.
It should
right?
be.
I mean, isn't that the?
I was vaccinated, and I'm like, every once in a while something happens.
It's great. You take my car keys; they'll stick right to my neck.
And the government knows everywhere I'm going, which is, I like that. It makes me
like
feel safe.
Yeah. What chip do you want? I said tortilla.
Yeah, that's right. One other thing that I found interesting 3 days ago, not on the same topic as measles, but the same kind of topic as scary. The Financial Times is an England newspaper. It's their conservative newspaper out of England. And they said that America's halfway to becoming a police state.
It feels that way.
I mean, Mike, you're a little more smarter than we are, a little more educated, and
Lots of cameras out there. Everywhere you go, there's cameras.
there is cameras. Well, and you're seeing Americans having their electronics scanned when they come back from flying from abroad.
Yeah.
You're seeing it happen in states now, as far as checkpoints. And I've been through checkpoints in Arizona, and it's scary. They have checkpoints, and like it's kind of scary when you go up to it.
Like a border
especially when you have-
checkpoint or just a random?
Nope, just a regular one. It was like 80 miles north of the border. It really surprised me. This is actually Trump's last term. This is 2000 and maybe 18 or 19. We were coming up from Yuma, Arizona, about 80 miles north. We were on the proving grounds up there, and we came to this checkpoint.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Jesus, this is scary. But you know what? We're white, and this is cool. They're just looking for illegals, I'm assuming.
Did you show them your COVID card?
No, but I had to end up showing my medical marijuana card because I did have marijuana.
Oh God.
Yeah, and the dogs came and all of it. I'm like, I have weeds, so what? Well, it is not legal here. Well, it is where I'm from, and of course the whole debate. But like we were like, and the guy was being a dick. Thank God this partner guy was okay, because it was scary. But there's something
So what do you think drives this, Ed? Well, I mean, why do you think, a nation looks at the United States and says they're well on their way to becoming a police state? Is an answer as simple as the prison industrial complex, private prisons, things like that?
Well, I'm going to jump ahead to a topic here. I mean, the private prison, there's money. A lot of it's money and power, without a doubt. But there's a Holocaust museum in Germany.
Okay.
And it displays a poster on what to look for the early signs of fascism. And this is kind of crazy. So I read it. Disdain for human rights. Identifying enemies as unifying cause. Supremacy of the military. Rampant sexism. Controlled mass media. Obsession with national security. Religion and government intertwined. Corporate power protected. Labor power suppressed. Disdain for intellectuals and the arts. Obsession with crime and punishment. Rampant cronyism and corruption. I'm not an expert.
I mean, that sounds so on the nose that it sounds fake. But
it does.
Yeah, right? That's what I think.
It sounds fake.
Yeah.
But this is actually like from people
Right.
that, it's Germany, like they actually dealt with it firsthand.
They've kind of been through that before.
I
Well,
mean,
remember after 9/11, we kind of went kind of wacky.
we did. The Patriot Act.
Patriot Act, Real ID,
We
all
did.
that kind of stuff, and
Yep.
Americans were fighting back, and then suddenly something changed, and everybody's like, "No, I got my Real ID, and the Patriot Act's okay."
Yeah.
You know.
I got
I
mine
know.
a couple weeks
I remember
ago.
that,
Real ID. I had
and the
no
Democrats
choice.
were really against that Patriot Act, and more likely because it was a Republican president at the time. If it would have been a Democrat, it would have been the Republicans against it. That's just a stupid way we work in America.
Right.
It really is. But
But remember, there was all the librarians saying, "No, we're not going to actually keep track of what books you read and that kind of stuff," and so there's like all this hubbub going around.
Well, there are influencers that are getting emails about their postings and what they're promoting and what they're not promoting. And
Not us.
Not us, not yet. Well, we had a video rejected from
Yeah.
TikTok, our second one. And it was accepted on Instagram. So I watched the video. I'm like, dude, it said nothing wrong other than...
You swore again, didn't you?
well, I swore, but we swear all the time. So everybody does it.
Navarro?
TikTok.
That
It was
bitch?
Navarro. I called Navarro...
Bitch.
I don't know, an idiot or something. Like,
Yeah.
we just criticized Navarro. Like, how's he still a talking head? Basically, that was like the worst thing that came out of that, and it was taken down. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't know what's going on. I don't know to trust the videos I see on social media at all. Like, I think people are turning to social media nowadays for what they feel is real news, not fake news, from their neighbors and their friends and stuff. But at the same time, that can be corrupt too, and I'm sure it is.
AI is going to decide what you watch. They got free speech rights. AI has free.
It is. That's
speech
why,
rights,
like,
and
on my Instagram, I follow Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump Jr., and I tell you what, if you want a kick, follow Donald Trump Jr.
Right.
It's fucking
Yeah. The snowman. Yeah.
dude. Yeah. He's wow.
Well,
I mean,
to try to answer your question, Ed, I don't really know why it feels like a police state, but I do know we have the most prisoners out of any country in the world.
by far.
More than China, more than Russia.
And China has over 1 billion people.
That
We do
doesn't
not.
seem right.
No, and that's something that's been a problem forever.
Yeah.
It has.
I'd really like to see our police officers downtown. Walking downtown.
Exactly.
And, doing kind of community kind of policing.
Right.
You're right.
Right now, they're kind of sitting in the cop shop behind the cameras, watching the
Yeah.
cameras, and
That's what they're doing.
Nobody knows who anybody is, and we need to kind of meet each other and say, hey, I'm kind of one of the
Right.
local guys.
They
I'm
do
a
feel
little nutty, but
they do feel more removed from like society, and it's like the days of Officer O'Callahan, spinning his nightstick, walking down the street, saying, "Little Bobby, did you get a B on that math test? Good job." Those days feel long gone.
Oh, yeah. Really long gone. I mean, like our chief of police is pretty awesome, I think. Bridger's a good dude, and a lot of our cops are really good here, but not everybody's as lucky as we are. And people,
Look, I don't envy the job.
no.
I mean, it's
No.
It would be a horrible job.
No.
I
Whenever
think so.
the police officer comes to your door, you're worried. But the
Yeah.
fire department comes to your door, you're grateful.
Yeah.
They're all public servants, and we don't even think about it
Yeah.
differently.
No shit. Well, we're afraid of police now. We just
Right.
it's and a lot of that was the Patriot Act. I think a lot of that began back then, and of course, people of color have always been scared shitless of the police.
The media, movies, TV, we've
Do you s-
all.
Whoa! I don't know whose that is. Mine? Ryan? It's Ryan. Oh, it's me. Weird. I didn't do anything. Didn't move. Anyway, speaking of that,
You know, it's the old Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young line where you see a police in your rearview mirror, you get all nervous. I'm butchering that, but there's a
You're
line
right.
like
Nope,
that.
there is. Well, you do. The other day in Oklahoma, did you see the video that came out of the cops sitting around talking about they wish they could lynch black people again? This is a real story. This was a real story. It's fucking nuts. I mean, but they were caught. You know, it's like, so that mentality does exist.
But then what? They were caught, and now what?
Well, nothing will happen in Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma actually passed the Crisis King bill, the one we tried. Oklahoma actually did pass it.
Right.
Wow. They're not going to put all the Trump Bibles in the classrooms, though. I think it was a little too expensive. $40 a Bible, that's a lot. Okay, moving on. I listened to an interview with David Hogg. If you're not familiar with him, he was in the Parkland shooting, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down in Florida.
He's now the assistant chair of the DNC.
Okay.
Is that a good idea? Mike, what do you think?
I think having young people involved in politics is a great idea. One of the things that I'm a little bit disappointed on is I saw that he's going to start primarying Democrats.
Yes.
Yep, I did see
That's
that.
the portion that upsets me a little bit. It's like you don't sit on the DNC and primary Democrats.
Okay, so that was what the interview was about. The guy said, here's what George Carville said about you. Basically, this little, you know.
Oh, the Raging Cajun?
The Raging Cajun kind of criticized him.
Looks
and
like someone opened the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, I know. He's still alive. He's kind of like my dog, somehow. You know, I don't know if it's a good idea. Okay, yes, the youth, I think, is smart. I do think, though, he is hated by the right. I don't know why. He was in a school shooting. I don't know how you can hate the guy, but he's
articulate.
he's very articulate.
At this point, it doesn't really. They're going to hate.
They're going to hate anybody.
So it doesn't matter.
You're right. If he's effective, I'm all for it. That's
like,
you know.
You're going to call. They call Obama a socialist. I mean, he was the most middle of the road,
Right.
like, technocratic, you know, small D Democrat.
Well, and to be a Democrat, you kind of have
Obamacare was
to be.
Mitt Romney's plan.
I know. Well, and they're trying to strip the. Here's what the Trump administration is doing, which is really kind of blowing my mind. They want to, you know, they keep trying to get rid of the pre-existing care in Obamacare.
Right.
They keep doing it.
Yeah.
Why? You know, I've broken my back twice, my pelvic bone, tons of things.
I had my cancer checkup today.
You had cancer, yes. Yep. And, you know, so guys like us, if they get rid of that,
Well, I think
we're toast.
To answer your question, not to overthink it, you know, they're trying to repeal that because the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Aetna, whoever else is saying, look, we're tired of paying for this high-risk pool.
You're right. And they need more yachts.
Right,
Without a
exactly.
doubt, and planes.
I mean,
My
people
private
probably
jet
don't
is
even-
3 years old. What am I, Amish?
Yeah.
Ride around this
People
thing?
probably don't even remember. Remember, you have to fill out that paperwork for pre-existing conditions. You had to like list all the things.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I remember Pam getting, you know, she had gotten something in her eye, just a little something, and she filled it in there, and they're like, well, we're not covering anything to do with your eye forever.
Right.
It's like,
Yes.
It was just a little scratch.
Yeah.
My back was the issue.
screwed.
My back, I couldn't and when I was going through it, I was like, well, screw it, man.
Yeah.
What else is going to go wrong? Probably my back. I've broken it twice. And then when Obamacare came through, and, you know, I'll admit, I tore an MCL playing volleyball. Whatever, my knee swelled up like a watermelon. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, I better get insurance.
Right.
And I waited 30 days. I got the insurance, waited 30 days, and went in and got my knee checked out. It was a tough 30 days, you know. But, you know, you're worried about health care. All you hear is about people going bankrupt over it, you know. And that's something, you know, at least a Democrat, I'll give them a kudos because at least Obama did something. They got something passed, you know.
Did you hear about the show Breaking Bad was originally supposed to be set in Canada?
No.
But he gets diagnosed with cancer, and he goes to the doctor and gets treatment, and that's the end of the show.
That's right. That's it. It's over.
It's not a.
But bump.
Right. It's not wouldn't be a very long series.
No, it really wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, yeah. And it's so corrupt up there, their healthcare system.
Well, I mean, they have their issues too. You know.
They do.
Most
And
Canadians have private insurance as a backup.
They do.
You know,
Oh.
they have a supplemental.
To be
Yep,
fair.
exactly.
Medicare has a supplemental. They have a supplemental.
And,
But it's
and
like-
there are waiting lines in the busier areas, just like America.
Yeah.
I can't just go get a knee surgery tomorrow if I
No, you
want one.
cannot.
Months away. They are scheduled months out, especially in Montana, you know.
Well, that is kind of like Montana. Have you tried to get a doctor's appointment?
Yes. Oh, dude, I just had my whole shoulder replaced a year or two ago, whatever. And it was one of the worst experiences I ever had just dealing with the doctor office. Be here at 12:30, maybe be here 15 minutes early. Okay, I'm there at 12:15. 1:30, they finally see me.
No, I've always
what
said
the fuck?
doctor's appointments should be the itinerary you get should be like a concert. It should say,
Yes.
doors are at 1, nurse at 115, doctor at 150, just so you kind of know.
And if the doctor is one of these kind of prima donnas, like, Axl Rose, it might be a little later.
Right,
You just might
not
have
see
to.
him till 3 o'clock.
You might have to wait a little bit, but it'll be worth it once you get to see him,
But, I tried to get, my wife and I, we have a 3-year-old and a 2-month-old. And, we were like, well, we better do this grown-up shit and get life insurance.
Yes. Yes, I had to do that.
We got this life insurance, and they won't cover me.
Oh, cancer.
They'll cover Margaret, they won't cover me.
Wow.
It's very
you
interesting.
cannot get life insurance.
No, we went through the whole thing, and it was like, and the guy was like, oh, these are just formalities, but you've never been diagnosed with cancer or anything? I was like, yeah, I have.
Yeah,
And he's like,
like,
okay, but
oh.
there wasn't like a metastatic spread or anything like that. I was like, man, it certainly did. And he's like, oh, okay, well, this might be an issue. Margaret, you'll be fine.
Wow. What
Because,
a shitty
yeah, I don't
deal.
think we don't get those pre-existing condition protections for like life
Probably not
insurance and stuff like that.
Right, right. I think, like Micah, our friend Micah, he, Hep C was misdiagnosed for years from the healthcare industry. Then he has to have $10,000 worth of medicine that the insurance company generously covered $2,600 of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
for them.
he had to borrow $8,000.
But from what I can gather, healthcare pretty much in every country in the world is an absolute mess.
Right. What do you do? And, you got people that are always sick, always have problems, chronic shit that they're always, it is what it is. I mean, I try not to go.
Cheap. Just to go for a checkup.
A checkup.
these days is like $1,000.
Physical therapy is $240 a freaking hour.
Yeah.
So, I don't do that.
Wrong business.
I am in the wrong business. I mean, wings are all right, but physical
yeah,
therapy.
That's the moneymaker there.
Yeah, well, and you get to touch people with physical therapy. I
always tell people, because, the boogeyman, the word you don't want to say, the universal health care that
Right,
freaks
right,
everybody
yeah.
out. I always tell people, I'm kind of like, well, we kind of already have socialized medicine. And
We
they
have
go-
Medicaid.
they
We have
go,
Medicare.
Oh, my God, no, we do not. I go, well, if you don't have insurance and you go to the ER, they will treat you, and then they will give you a bill that you will not pay. And then the hospital will they'll eat that cost, pass it on to the insurance company, which raises all of our premiums to pay for stuff like that. So in a way, in a very
it's rampant.
inefficient way,
We
pay for it anyway.
Well, when I broke my back the second time, it was here, and I went to the hospital, and I did not have insurance, and my earning was in the red. So there's a fund in Whitefish that just paid for it for me, which was awesome. I had no idea. I was afraid to go to the doctor,
Right.
but it hurt really bad, so I had to go.
But the flip side to that is if I work for the state, I've got really good insurance. If you can, I'm lucky in that regard. If you can get good insurance in this country, it is a blessing. Because I went, cancer diagnosis, 2 surgeries, chemotherapy for 4 months. It was like $190,000.
Holy shit.
And I paid $4,000. That was my total out of pocket.
Well, you're the reason my insurance is going up. You should have just
100%,
died.
yeah,
You should have
right,
died.
We're
I'll
happy
keep-
to pay for you.
I'll keep that in mind.
In Trump's America, you should not be here. And unless you're a Charlie Kirk fan or something.
So I can't complain too much, but
No, I guess not.
doesn't mean we can't try to make it better.
No, it does not mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. But how much does our government care about making it better? There are certain people that do, but I think there's lobbyists and corporate interests that get in the way of all of that. I mean, it's just that's even in little Montana, and we'll talk about that pretty soon.
When they wrote Obamacare, the lobbyists were working with Baucus.
Yes, and the pharma companies.
Yeah.
You remember when the Baucus kicked out the single-payer people out of the committee? Had single-payer people.
Yes.
Baucus was like, get those guys out of here.
Oh,
But to go back to the David Hogg that we kind of
yes,
started on.
yeah.
I guess the silver lining that I would see in that is, maybe they use these primaries to, pull some of these older Democrats to the left a little bit. Typically, when I see these hotly contested primaries, they try to pull candidates to the left.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know what the strategy is, and there's a lot of things.
I don't think they know either.
I don't either. Mike's like, no.
There's nothing wrong with David Hogg and his people, younger people primarying older Democrats. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's that he's sitting in an official capacity on the DNC
Right.
vice chair. That's the issue.
Right. That's he probably shouldn't be doing. He should be doing something else.
It's like having registered lobbyists on the Democratic executive board. That's a problem.
The little conflict, yeah. Well, and some of them need to be primary. I'm not saying they don't,
Sure.
but you're right. As the vice chair, that's not your job, and you probably shouldn't be that. I mean,
At the very least, you get people out there to defend their positions on certain issues, right? And
Yeah.
if the voters want to elect a 10-term incumbent in the House of Representatives, they're free to do so.
Yeah.
If they want to go a different direction, they can do that too.
Primaries are great. There's
Yep.
nothing wrong with primaries.
No.
Primary anybody you want.
they'd be
But it
better if they
does-
were open.
The infighting does get a little. I do bristle at it a little bit, where I'm just like,
Well,
are
both
these
parties-
the fights we want to be having?
Right. They get all personal.
Yeah.
Well, remember the Sanders-Hillary stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Damn, man. I mean, honestly, neither of them are going to win that election. I don't think. I don't know why.
I don't know.
But I don't know. You're right. Sanders might. People just didn't really like Hillary. I guess. I didn't like her either. I don't think a woman should have that position. Hey, all right. Let's go.
I think
Ba-da-boom.
a lot of the problem that people had with Hillary Clinton is there was this sense.
She was
to
on the
it-
board of Walmart, maybe.
Well,
that did it for me.
There was this sense that somehow, some way, it was just her turn.
You're right.
And
She
people
was
were
the
like-
chosen one.
Yeah, who I didn't vote for. All of a sudden, she's the one that everyone's saying is going to be president. So I think that rubbed a lot of people.
I mean, look at the mistakes that the Democrats have made. And I got to be honest, I didn't vote for Obama, but I thought he was a great president. I got no problems with him,
Well, even like Hillary, remember when Hillary started her campaign, she showed up in the Scooby-Doo van?
Yes, I do.
And she was walking down the parade.
Oh,
and she
yeah.
had all been corralled off, so
Yes.
nobody could get anywhere near her. And just the optics of that is just
It looks
terrible.
bad. I mean, compared to the
Trump came up,
optics of Trump getting shot at and raising his fist with his ketchup here, I
Right.
mean, it was
Yeah.
that was pretty patriotic, if you ask me. No, I'm not. I don't know if it was fake or not. I really don't. So I'm not saying
I think
that.
it was.
Moving along, a little bit more about Trump and this fascism and whatever the fuck's going on in America right now. I don't know much about Kilmar Garcia. I don't. I've been watching the news, and I'm trying to get a reputable source on this. It's not easy.
It's tough.
It's very tough because you've got
Very
people
difficult.
saying he's a gang member. You got people saying he's not. You got his family saying there's no proof of it. He doesn't have a criminal. When I found out he doesn't have a criminal record, that kind of got me.
Sure.
I was like, okay, no criminal record. I think that's going a little too far on this. And if he's MS-13, if he's a murderer, if he's a drug dealer, yeah, get rid of him. I'm all for it.
Sure.
But don't you want to make sure? Or is the new America like, no, fuck it, shoot first, ask questions later?
No, due process.
Right, due process. I hate due process.
They kind of do.
They do. And what's wrong with that? They do until it's them. You know what I mean? But I
saw
don't think it
something
matters.
the other day that said, well, did the January 6ers get due process? And it's like, they
Oh,
got
no,
lawyers,
dude.
trials, pretrial release. They got
Fucking
the right
pardoned.
to appeal. They got, of course they did, because everyone should.
I don't know. I would like to know. I would like to know for sure. And you're seeing a lot of this happening. And again, where are the 2A people? Where are they? The freedom people. People are telling us this is going to happen forever, and we better watch our government. We got to have a lot of guns because of our government.
We're currently being treaded on.
Yeah, we're being treaded on a lot. Yeah.
I just want to know who's going to pick the Flathead cherries this year.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Us maybe? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I would assume a business that's been around that long. But you're right. Well, Trump's he just said he's going to let the illegals back in. If they go back to their home country and do it and fill out some paperwork, he'll give them a work visa.
Come back in.
If they go back, bro, it's a little too late for that. I mean, I think it's too late to erase a lot of these policies. Like I was saying, what was it? Oh, about us slipping into a police state, things like that.
Yeah.
These tariffs, the Chinese thing. Now these Chinese companies are like there's a law that if it's under $800, you don't have to pay the tax or the tariff on it. So now these companies are selling their trinkets on TikTok, so you don't have to go to Walmart to buy them.
It was a masterclass in getting in over your head. These tariffs with China, where it's like,
Okay,
you put the tariffs on China. The
Explain
red
that.
phone that says President Xi did not ring.
Right.
And Trump was like, oh boy, that's not good.
Right, I would think.
And then Jamie Dimon and,
No, they're like
Elon Musk.
the guy from BlackRock, it escapes me his name, Leonard.
Elon
Larry
Musk
something.
is
They
trying
met
to
with
get
Trump
him to
and they're
stop.
like, this cannot continue. And then he said, well, we're going to put him down.
Yeah,
They
145%.
won't be zero, but they're below.
My
And
top advisor said don't do it from 100%. Oh, we'll go to 145
And then again,
no
everyone
problem.
did the same thing. They said, masterful, sir. Three-dimensional chess, the art of the deal. And it was like, what deal are we
Except
talking
Wall
about?
Street. Wall Street was the only folks who said that wasn't so masterful.
Right,
We'll
not
get
really.
To we'll get to Wall Street in a bit.
Well, and most
Mike.
people are saying, like, investors and, like, I mean, Jim Cramer's not one I'm listening to for sure. Been
Jim
burned by that
Cramer,
guy
yeah.
before. I don't think he's so, I don't know how he's got a job.
I got a hot
don't.
tip from Jim Cramer on
Yeah.
this company called Enron.
yeah. But, you know, seriously, there is, you know, it's weird. That's all I can say. It's kind of,
It's a disaster.
it's a disaster.
It's really
it's a
hitting
disaster.
your retirement 401k.
It has.
It really is.
I talked to a friend of mine that he's very conservative, and he's got 2 different IRAs. He said the one that he has somebody handle, I don't remember, but one that was in a general fund, whatever, is lost like 30-40% of its value. And I was like, oh my, he goes, yeah.
Oh,
And he's
wow.
62 years old.
Wow.
He's like getting close. And he's like, Jesus Christ, now I got to
food's-
work.
Cat food's cheap.
Cat food, yeah. Well, it is cheap, and it's
It's
nutritional.
still $2 a pound.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Eat
cheaper
up.
than chicken. Cheaper than eggs. All right, one more national thing that I find kind of weird. They're really, okay, you know how Trump is going to release the JFK files and all this shit. Did we really land on the moon? Are there aliens? And Epstein's flight log.
Oh,
Okay, so we already know Trump was on his flight log 7 times.
Sure.
That came on the story 2 years ago. Nobody seems to give a shit. You
No,
know what
no
I mean?
one cares.
Whatever. Who cares? You know, he didn't do it.
No one
Everybody else did, but he did not. Bill Clinton definitely did.
Sure,
But
he did
Trump
too.
did not. But, you know, they keep teasing and talking about bringing it out, and they have this information.
no. To me, the Epstein files that have been released, they've already told me everything I need to know about who's on it.
Well, and the pictures we've seen with
It's like I
that's
know
kinda-
everything I need to know about.
Aren't you kind of guilty if you got pictures with the guy and girls and like
Well, but
younger?
it's really interesting because, so, you know, QAnon. You've got QAnon's the big, like.
Yes.
there's-
Oh, yeah, they hate
there's
pedophiles.
child sex trafficking and, you know.
Hillary Clinton's trafficking
Jeffrey Epstein,
kids.
all
Yep.
that. And then I was thinking about it the other day. It was like, well, how do you square that circle when you've got ungodly amount of pictures with Trump and Epstein, and QAnon's answer is, well, he's taking it down from the inside.
Oh,
That's their whole answer to it.
He's a
and
genius.
And it's like, well, I guess makes sense to me.
He is a genius. That goes a long way. Oh, wow, man.
It's crazy.
The Prince Edward is that the one that seemed to have taken the most heat from this? Or
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Prince Edward. Is that,
You're thinking
is
of
that-
Prince
is
Edward
a cigar
Island.
or something? Or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Canadians.
But people are kind of like, you know, it's. I don't know.
It's very- I
it's
mean-
interesting, but it's going nowhere, just like the JFK
It's
files.
clear to me it's a big blackmail thing. They get you on camera, they put you in a precarious situation, and they say, okay, here you go. Here are your talking points.
Yeah.
Here's your agenda. You're going to do what we want, or else we're going to release this, and your whole life will be ruined.
yeah.
Right? It's classic Russian honeypot scheme. They used to do it back in the day. I mean, it's what.
That's why politicians shouldn't go to the Russian motels.
Right? Exactly. It's counter. You know. Yeah, counterintelligence 101.
Kevin, did you get that screenshot? Kevin, did you get the slide? Oh, you did. Okay, and then you got the video I emailed. That'll come up later. It's in the BBB email. Anyway, we haven't done a top 10 in a couple weeks, so if you're ready for a top 10, we've got one.
All right, let's do
top
it.
10 reasons to make Montana MAGA again.
Make Montana great again.
We need this. Too many gay people running around here.
That's true.
There's too many gays running around there. You can see them right there.
Yep.
Too many brown people around here, too. Right there. You don't want to run into these guys out hiking in the mountains at all.
Oh, they look dangerous.
Number 3,
A chill
because
just went up Brad Abel's spine.
it did. Because the elderly deserve to eat cat food instead of having health care and Social Security.
Hey, that looks
There's
pretty
Grandma
good.
eating
Some
the
of
elbow.
that canned cat food smells good.
I was
It
gonna
does. It
say.
smells. You know what? Especially with a little A1 steak sauce.
Not the
It's not
worst.
bad. It's
That's
not
expensive,
what.
though.
Saying
Wait.
that President Biden had
Is there a what? Who's that?
TJ, get
It's-
the mic?
It's haunted.
Is that, yeah.
Number 4, we're too friendly to our neighbors. Fuck your feelings.
I agree.
That's what we need more of. Fucking your feelings. Number 5, because due process is for libtards.
That's
It
true.
is.
It's just, I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of reading about it.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. We got next one. There we go. See, look at that. I'm probably immune, anti-vax, own them libs. Number 6, make hate speech the official language of Montana. And, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she had some nice words about the Pope.
She did.
Okay, you guys, can anybody explain this real quick? We're going to take a little break here and talk about this. Today, there were major shifts in global leadership. Evil is being defeated by the hand of God. Because the Pope died and Trump's running things, and he's probably going to be the new Pope.
Call me old-fashioned, but I thought he was infallible.
Yeah,
Pope.
to die on Easter kind of puts a little fucking poo-poo on religion.
Vance was the Pope Slayer.
I think Vance
yeah.
was the Pope Slayer. It was
Right.
kind of fucking weird how Vance shows up, and the Pope don't like his immigration views.
Marjorie did
Thank
make a
you.
whole lot of money last week.
She made a lot of money on the
Yeah,
market.
buying stock markets
She
right
said, you know what?
before-
Idiots
yeah.
don't buy it when idiots don't buy it when it's high. They buy it when it's low.
I guess it just pays to be a skilled investor.
And
That's
you
what I'll
could
say
tell
about
she's
that.
a pretty smart woman. A lot that comes out of her mouth is
Yeah.
like,
She's up to 5 words that she can read.
or pronounce.
401k to track her trading.
I know. Well, there are legislators out there that are proposing, and there's bipartisan support that they just can't. They have to put everything in a blind trust, and which is bullshit anyway. I mean, it is bullshit.
Speaking of the Epstein logs, that's another tell of mine. When I hear a congressman or a senator's response to banning congressional trading, they tell me everything I need to know. Like
Here.
Tommy Tuberville threw a little fit, and he
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, if you're going to get rid of that, you might as well just put robots up here. What are we even doing here? And it's like, oh, Tommy's heavily leveraged in some dark shit.
Big time. Number 7, we are sick of our politicians actually writing and passing laws. I prefer they go on Fox and Friends and insult trans people. That would be better. That would be a better way to face
Well, it
Montana
seems so,
every
like,
morning.
cute, doesn't it? That we used to have legislators that would draft legislation and then
Right,
debate it.
and make sure it was constitutional. They would go through the extra steps to make sure it was
And
constitutional.
now it's just a revolving
I was like,
door
fuck it, give me
on-
it back, sign it,
on
Give it
whatever
me.
news channel.
Let them sue us.
Talking all sorts of bullshit.
Speaking of the suing and like being legal or not, I think I just read Trump has 93% of these executive orders are losing in court. That's a huge number. I'm gonna look that up. I'll bring it up next week or
The
something.
judge also blocked that bathroom bill.
I did see that.
Now you just have to hold it. That was
Yeah.
really.
Like I got to do in this show a lot.
So you're off the hook for inspecting genitals in the bathroom here at the Tap House, Ed. For now.
Oh my God, Cheryl Seekins Crow on her Facebook. Everybody's got to follow her Facebook. It's fucking hilarious.
She from Billings? Is she the
Yeah, she's out there. She's
state
fucking out
legislator
there.
from Billings?
She's ridiculous. Oh, here we go. Brad's up. Brad Abel, number 8, gets to be himself in public. That's
Right.
why we need to make Montana MAGA again.
Right.
Number 9, Christian nationalists deserve better, and under
Let's go
MAGA
back
they
to
will.
that. I mean, what did he really do? I mean, you guys have been like rasping up.
Oh, you don't know?
8
You
sessions
don't
ago.
know?
No, I just want to bring it up to light again. I forgot.
Okay, so the Guardian newspaper did an interview about the homeless shelter and our city Kalispell's
Kalispell.
disdain for it, and the county
Yep.
commissioners. So interviewed Tanya Horn, and Tanya will be on in June.
She's the director.
She's a director
of the
and a
warming
conservative,
center.
very conservative woman, which will be the first conservative we got on our show, which is
fine.
going to be great.
Yeah.
But he was with the Guardian, and the guy giving him the interview. What's Oh, Michelle emailed him. That's right. Oh, you sent me that. Anyway, the Guardian asked him why we have this homeless problem in Kalispell in America, and he said it was a black family.
Yep.
I mean, that's crazy. And then Michelle, our producer Kevin's mom, emailed him and said, I was grossly misquoted in the Guardian. Okay, now I spoke to Tanya after, and the Guardian, the guy that did the article said, after he said that, he puts his recorder closer to him and says, "You're being recorded. Would you like to
Yeah.
restate that?" And he doubled down, in front of in the local news too. Kind of weird. And I think Brad's a pretty good dude. I do, as far as people go. I don't think I don't think a lot of these people I know are racist. They just kind of.
Well, he took Phil's seat, right? The tree
So-
cutter.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's what he said, Mike. He said, Abel said that the root cause of homelessness was the breakdown of the American family, and that began with black families.
black
It
families.
started with the black population of the United States.
And he told Michelle he has not given up on his First Amendment
Which is
rights
a
as an elected
wild
official.
thing to say.
Guest workers.
Yeah.
Wow. This
And-
is great. I did not read. I forgot about this, Michelle. He said, "I have not given up my First Amendment rights as an elected official. I've been very open and
is
consistent
fine.
about my views and beliefs, and I believe those views and beliefs are exactly why I was elected." Holy shit! So that's actually saying
Brad can say whatever he wants.
Brad
and if
says
Ed
what Brad
and I want
wants.
to call him a racist every week, we can do
that's
that.
fine. All right, number 10. Finally, get rid of Love Lives Here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
John Fuller. Number 10, finally get rid of Love Lives Here, because MAGA does not like Love Lives
Thorn
Here.
in my
No
side.
way. Thorn in all of our sides. Those liberal weirdos want people to get along and loving each other.
Right. Gross.
How much of those liberals love Donald Trump? Where's the love for him? Just kidding, liberals. Anywho. What was Trump contacting Quentin Tarantino about, Ryan?
Oh, this is our dear friend Pete Hegseth,
Oh, my God, that's right. He's in a little trouble.
who got into a little bit more
Did
trouble.
he text you the other day?
Yeah,
Not me.
we all got it.
Apparently, I'm the only civilian in the country that hasn't received a
Oh,
text.
you
from
haven't?
Pete
Oh, you're
Hegseth
not
with
the
war
you're not the
plans.
cool club.
But I was telling Kevin earlier, the more I think about Pete Hegseth, the more relatable this guy is to me. Getting a really good job, telling everyone you're going to clean up your act, and then just fucking it up immediately.
He was drinking whiskey
It's
on
like,
a
sounds like
podium.
every single one of my friends in college. Like, I got to go sell insurance for my dad. I got fired.
He apparently got in contact with Quentin Tarantino and asked if Calvin Candy from Django Unchained would be the
Yeah, so they're
was real.
Yeah, they're vetting replacements.
So he's the first to go.
Yeah, and
He will be the first to go.
He will be.
Because
I
Trump
thought it
just
was
said
gonna be Rubio.
He will be.
I really did.
Rubio seemed to be the most upstanding one. I don't know.
Little
you know.
Marco, yeah.
Little Marco.
Yeah, so they're vetting Hegseth's replacements, and the names I've heard floating around D.C. are John Barleycorn, Captain Morgan,
Jim Beam.
Jack Daniels,
Jim Beam. Jim Beam was up there. I think he's a strong favorite.
So we'll see. It'll be interesting.
The whole Hegseth thing, I mean, again, we know Trump's plan. We know how you get these in-your-face people.
Sure.
These in-your-face people are that's what the base likes. That's
Well,
what
look,
he thinks America likes.
The guy, Pete Hegseth, was nice to Trump on TV. So Trump said, I like him.
That's all it
Oh,
took.
he was in the military? Would he like to lead the Pentagon?
They had
Okay.
$20,000 worth of eggs at the egg roll
Did
thing
they?
for the Easter at the White
There's
House.
a few
Is that
dozen
like
eggs.
4 dozen?
I was going to say that's 3 or 4 dozen eggs. Yeah.
I know. I don't get it. Apparently, the manufacturer said it was eggs that they couldn't resell. It didn't look that way. But that was where Pete Hegseth came out, and he just, it's just the liberal media, and they're bashing us. They want to bash Trump. They want to bash.
slash and
Well, no,
burn.
dude, you fucking put plans out on Signal. It's just like that. We're not like asking for you to get fired. We're just like saying it was
Right.
kind of stupid. Explain yourself.
Okay, it'd be totally different if the Secretary of Agriculture said, "Hey, the wheat crop is not going to be great this year." But we're talking about people whose lives are
Yes,
potentially at risk.
bombs
right?
flying in Yemen.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not much about wheat. That's
Yeah.
that.
Who cares?
That's
Yeah.
weird. What did Lauren Boebert say about the stock market?
Oh, do we have a picture of that?
Oh nope, I forgot to put it on there. I did.
So Lauren, love Lauren. Come on the show, Lauren. Lauren Boebert said that there are a lot of communists on Wall Street that are selling their
They're
stocks
selling their stocks.
to hurt the president.
Okay, when is it gonna end? Like this goofy shit. And I'll be honest.
To me, when I heard that, I was like, this is a dog whistle. You want to say Jews, just say Jews.
Oh yeah,
Right?
probably.
It's
Yep,
like,
you're
what,
right.
what are you talking about?
More than likely,
Or
who knows
maybe-
what she's talking about?
Maybe she is that stupid.
She is. I'm sorry. And I'm not. Again, the left has their lunatics too. I got to clarify that all the time. We're not
She
here.
might be the top one.
It's just, but she's fucking
She's up
super
there.
loony, dude. She's really loony.
She's up there.
I think Marjorie's got her.
She might.
I think Marjorie's got her a little bit.
could.
She's got that lead.
Boy, that's a real who's who in Congress. Oh boy. Yikes.
Oh. What's this about Greg Abbott?
Oh, great. You know Greg Abbott?
I do.
Governor Hot Wheels.
Hot
as I
Wheels.
like to
Governor
call him.
Hot Wheels.
So he's the governor of Texas, and
Oh.
he made a pitch to the Texas legislature to anyone charged with murder shall not be eligible for bond. No bond.
Really?
Which, in my opinion, is a violation of the Eighth Amendment because,
Of course.
well,
Details.
well, so the Eighth Amendment
MAGA
guarantees.
hate detail.
Yeah, they guarantee you have a right to not have excessive bond, which to me implies you have a right to reasonable bond. Anyway, this is the same governor who pardoned a man last year who killed
Yeah.
a bunch of protesters in Texas. They
and
were
they're-
Black Lives Matters protesters. He murdered them. He went to
was that
trial.
the one where he murdered 23 of them?
I don't think it was that many.
Well, there was another case where 23 people got murdered, and they're trying to save him from the death penalty.
But he murdered them, went to trial, lost, appealed. The appeal went nowhere. He stood
Of course.
convicted, and Greg Abbott pardoned him.
Yeah, but he said
No.
bonds. He didn't say no pardons.
Right.
Abbott
So I
pardoned
guess-
him?
Yeah,
For
Abbott
real?
pardoned him. Yep. Yep.
What the fuck?
So I guess if in Texas, as long as you're murdering liberals, you
Or
might
if they're
have-
brown,
Yeah, right. Well,
keep them
brown.
down.
Yeah.
Preferably knee on the back of the
This
neck,
due
I suppose.
process thing really gives them fits.
It gets in a way. It gets in a way of a lot of things. Wow, dude. I did not really know that.
Crazy.
I did not
I
know
can
that.
talk about Greg Abbott all day.
I mean, okay. They went from George Bush to Rick Perry to Greg Abbott, I think. Something like that.
Something like that.
And Perry was hilarious. I mean, he was like the classic blonde ding-dong girl, but he was
Sure,
like a
yeah.
grown man with dark hair.
Just a stooge, yeah.
Jesus Christ. And then Abbott, not much better.
No.
Like, when you listen to him talk, he's kind of just like White House. White House. Sheldon Whitehouse, he's kind of a dingy.
Oh, God.
I mean, I can see he's an easy target for Fox.
Yeah.
And go get him, because this guy looks like a ding-dong, and he's kind of a ding-dong. He says some dumb shit. And Greg Abbott might be his long-lost brother or cousin or something, because they're very similar. They're just in different parties.
You know, Greg Abbott was jogging, got hit by a tree that fell down, and that's how he ended up in the wheelchair.
No.
Was that Phil's tree?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Phil
Was it
Mitchell.
God did it?
And came to Montana under cover of darkness.
No, why wouldn't somebody
So Greg
say-
Abbott sued, got a ton of money in a big tort case.
No.
And then when he was governor, one of the first things that he did was tort reform, so no one's ever going to get a payout.
Wait
like
a
Greg Abbott did
second.
in
He
Texas.
wasn't in a wheelchair when he started being governor.
No.
So this happened while he was governor.
No, it was not while he was governor.
What
But-
the fuck?
But what he did is he spearheaded tort reform in Texas, where if that were to happen to you or I today in Texas,
You can't do it.
You would get a fraction of what Greg Abbott got.
But why is he in a wheelchair now? He wasn't a few years ago. I could have swore.
I think he's been in a wheelchair.
Oh,
for a
he's
while.
always been?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. J.D. Vance is going to be the tariff czar. Poor
I know. Jesus
sucker.
Christ, he held the short straw there, didn't he? Oh,
Pump and dump White House.
golly, man.
I mean,
It's just-
did he really do that? He's naming him the
Yeah,
tariff
he's gonna
czar.
be the tariff
Well,
czar.
like Biden named Kamala the border czar.
Ooh.
Good idea, Joe.
Brutal.
Especially
Well,
when.
It's one of the things that is endlessly fascinating to me about Trump is his ability to tear, like, just destroy people that come within his orbit.
It's
like,
really masterful.
like
really
Rudy
It is.
Giuliani.
No,
Rudy Giuliani's lost everything. He has nothing. He's law
No,
license,
he's
all-
got
it's all
no. My
gone.
Pillow guy.
My Pillow guy's
Well,
gone.
he's lying. He
Oh.
has something.
He might. Yeah.
Hey. I know you love the pillows, Kevin.
Elon,
They're good pillows.
Elon Musk is
Musk
lost just
400
about everything.
Down 71%.
Yeah.
From the last quarter this year, first quarter. Last year, first quarter, he's down 71% in sales.
I mean, the list is endless, and now
Maybe
it's
don't
gonna,
get into politics so much if you're selling cars
and
in the
now it's
world.
going to happen to J.D. Vance. Yeah.
Kevin, you're creeping me out. You're right. It's not forced on anybody. Real quick about the eggs. The
Yeah.
world's largest egg producer just had like a 70% profit or something.
Oh, way more than that.
Way more than that. They made $6 million the first quarter last year. They made like $160 million this quarter.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and then our Justice Department is investigating them. Is
Oh.
that going to go anywhere?
I'm sure they're digging real deep.
I mean, are they still investigating and prosecuting My Pillow guy? Apparently they are. These
Who
courts are
knows?
making them
That
pay
guy's
money.
got more lawsuits going than I do.
I love that guy as much as that guy loves crack.
Right.
He is fucking good theater.
Right.
And I'm kind of bummed he's not in the news as much anymore, you know?
The rumor is now Trump hates him.
Really?
He just like is annoyed by him, and he's done with it.
Well, I think Trump does that with a lot of people. I
Right.
do. You know,
It's
like these people
incredible.
that just suck his dick and
Yep.
love him to death and just make
Chews
him
him
look
up,
like the best.
spits him out.
Chews him up and spits him out. Yep.
Mike Pence. I mean,
Pence.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, well, Pence is a criminal for allowing Biden to be president. I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
there's people out
It's
there
not
that
too late,
completely
Mike. If you
still
have the
believe
courage,
it.
we can still overturn that election.
Okay, this is okay, Kevin. Or let's play that video that's in our email real quick. This is what Ryan wanted us to play this before we talk about this one. I didn't even watch this yet.
It's only like the first minute.
Okay, the first minute.
Yeah.
Oh, we might not have audio.
To him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe.
So
to be
start it
true.
over, Kevin.
And
We
you
missed
think he was as
the
sharp as you?
question.
Oh,
Do
I
you
want to see.
regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
Who's this weirdo?
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline.
All right, that's good, Kevin.
Oh,
And I hadn't.
See, and this is what I said last week, and this is what got banned on TikTok.
So I think this should be a much bigger story than it currently is.
It probably should, and it's being.
Because it's definitely something that the Democrats nationally are going to have to reckon with. It's
Well,
just-
they did. They lost their ass.
I think it cost Tester his job.
Yes, it did.
She looks like a fool.
Maybe primary her. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be there. Who's ever on the ticket in 2028. One of the biggest issues they're going to have to deal with is how do you handle the Joe Biden mental decline issue?
Okay, Mike, you're a lifelong Democrat. How do you deal? What do they do? Do they just kill him and just so we forget about him? I think he might be dead anyway right now. I don't know. We haven't heard of him.
I don't know what you do. You just keep talking, keep finding the same safe spot, and move forward.
I mean, it's pretty.
It is what it is.
It's brutal. Like, we sit here and we bitch about Trump and Fox News and how much they lie. But, man, Biden was not with it at all, and he wasn't for a while.
Right.
But a lot of people stood by it.
Did he say he was only going to run one term?
He did say, didn't he say that?
and then he stuck
He
around.
hinted
That
at
was kinda like the problem.
that was another thing. He did say because he was old and he knew that and everything. But what's really weird is, Trump isn't showing the decline as much as Biden did at his age, but
No.
that's probably any day.
And and to Elizabeth Warren's
Like,
credit,
my dad's 86, he doesn't show any.
Oh, okay,
Just kidding.
Have him on the show.
Some of the stuff that Biden did was really pretty historic.
Yes.
No,
It's the
no doubting that.
investment in infrastructure,
Yep.
when you
And
look
if
at
it's
the
not him,
actual
it's his
policy,
team that he had around him. I mean,
Right.
there were some smart people involved. We did have the strongest currency in the fucking world
Yep.
as of December of 2024.
A
And
whole bunch of people got jobs again.
A lot of jobs.
Stock
Unemployment's
market
low.
retirements went up big
Yep.
time.
I mean, we honestly, middle class, upper middle class, made a good amount of money when Biden was president.
And I think to Elizabeth Warren's credit and John Tester's credit, I think a lot of it has to do with the people around the president. And, when you're an 83-year-old man, I
Right.
imagine you have good days and you have bad days.
Yeah.
Days when you feel a little more with it, days when you don't.
They hid that from Ronald Reagan, too.
Right.
Oh,
and I
big
would-
time.
I would imagine they're like, well, we cannot have, this Senate subcommittee come in and talk to the president today. It's going to have to be tomorrow. So
Right.
maybe there is some truth to her saying that, but my point is any Democrat that's running for president in 2028 is going to need a goddamn good answer to the Joe Biden.
And you know
mental-
what? A lot of these people have already said things that will sink them.
Well,
Like, I think Cory Booker's a good dude and maybe a strong candidate. I don't know. But he also said shit about Biden, too. I don't know.
Well, I think it's part of what sunk Kamala's campaign. Because how do you run against the guy that you're currently working with and for?
I don't
Right?
know.
How can she say anything bad about Joe Biden?
I think the Democrats have
So I think
have
she
a
was
huge problem.
Very hamstrung by him dropping out in July and not December.
Right. Well, and I mean, even if it wasn't like some people say it was too late to go ahead and have a primary and all this, I think
was.
that's bullshit.
It was too late.
I don't know. I think it would. Well, I think in hindsight I was right. I just think people weren't ready and did not like Kamala Harris.
Right.
And all the right had to do was throw one video of her talking about giving prisoners transsexual surgeries.
133,000
You're right.
people did
Right.
like her.
Well, they chose her because they didn't like Trump. I think it's just like Biden. I don't think people like Biden. I think they just didn't like Trump. I think that's kind of, and I think,
Negative turnout's a real thing.
well, and America has a very short memory. So you know what? This
Right.
shit about Biden might not fucking matter in 3 years. It probably won't.
Maybe.
Because what Trump did didn't matter. Like, people
Maybe,
completely,
yeah.
like, there's a lot of people I know voted for him.
We are the
Are kind of blown away by some of the things he's done or in
we
the
have to be
past.
the most frustrating electorate. Like, just-
Dude.
I mean, Americans love theater. Political
They
theater.
love
Give us
it.
more of it. We
They
love it.
love
They
it.
love
Eat it
wrestling.
up. Biden didn't have a lot of theater.
No, he
did not.
He didn't have much at all in the last year or
He had
2
good
years.
policies, bad theater.
And I think he had good people around him. And I think, like, I honestly, I look at the cabinets going back from Reagan to current and look at the Democrats and Republicans and the differences of who they put in their cabinets. I'm just going to say that, in my opinion, the Democrats put people that deserve to be in these positions, not doing favors for friends. They actually vetted these people and put people in the Department of Health, in the
Not
CDC.
Pete Hegseth or
Not-
RFK Jr.
I know.
Focus
Betsy
was on
DeVos.
Yeah.
They put
Betsy-
people in
oh,
there who
Linda
could
McMahon.
govern.
Yeah, I just unbelievable stuff.
Republicans put people in there who can rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, oh my God! We have a long time before we're gonna figure out any of the whatever I'm trying to say, the ramifications of all of this we're talking about. We
Right.
still have time, you know.
I'm
We
very
got
curious to see what
2026 is going to be weird.
2028 looks like.
2028 is going to be really weird. I mean,
Yeah.
unless there's some civility that goes on, you know,
Maybe.
What will the stock market be in 2028?
Shit.
I don't know, but Fury made a good point when he was on last week or the week before, whatever, week before. You know, he's like, you know, where was it in 2020 and where was everything in 2024? And now where is it all? It's like, damn, dude, all these numbers are down a lot.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's for the greater good because in 2 years we're going to have manufacturing back in America. I just, you know, would you say that, well, in 20 or 30 years, somebody said in 20 or 30 years, that stock market is going to be up and we're going to be manufacturing everything in America.
Right, yeah.
I listen to
like
BB.
you could find 200,000 Americans who want to work in a factory.
You're
making
not.
iPhones.
It's never going to happen.
Well, you're not.
Never
This
gonna
guy was on the BBC, and I think listening to the BBC is a really good, alternative source. I don't think they're super left wing. I think they're liberal-ish leaning, but you're getting a different perspective, and I think that's important. Just like Al Jazeera, I think Al
Yeah.
Jazeera is a great news source.
Sure.
And I'm sure half the people in this valley want to shoot me for saying that, but it's better than the Daily
It just
Interlake.
sounds scary.
It does. It sounds scary. You're right. Al Jazeera, terrorism.
Heard that name before.
But we do want more manufacturing in America.
Of course we do.
I mean,
And it was
it's
up under
like,
Biden.
How do you make it happen? How
Sure.
soon can it happen? You know,
Right.
we're kind of like we chopped it off, and now it's like, whoa.
But here's what this guy from China, a business leader, said, much like Andy Fury said, because Andy has companies in China. A seamstress gets $1.52 an hour in China. And that seamstress at $1.52 an hour can actually afford to go to the grocery store and buy eggs and buy things and have a life because
Right.
rent and housing isn't fucking insane there. There's not, you know, it's like the middle class is really blown up in China. It really is. But we're not going to get somebody to sew things for $1.50, an hour. We're just, we're just not going to do any of this. So,
And if you start paying them
And that's
$5
why-
an hour, there's something going to want a TV, and they're going to want this kind of other American kind of stuff,
Right,
and
yeah.
life gets more expensive.
Yeah.
and that's why, one thing, did you hear the thunder? The thunder roll.
there's Kevin. He'll do that.
The thunder roll. What were we talking about? I forgot already.
The Avocat is taken down. Garth Brooks is notorious for that.
For what?
He does not let anyone use his music.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
No, he's good.
He's great.
I love him. I saw him
Some
in
music too. I mean,
Huh?
you see John Tester's music? He's got good music when he starts his podcast.
Oh, yeah?
music sings or Tester sings.
No, he's got what? Pearl Jam.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
of course he does.
Yeah.
Well,
So Jeff Ament.
The only
yeah.
famous person we know is Donegan. He said we can use his music if
Oh,
we want.
boy.
I know.
That's a real buck and mare Yahoo. I do like
Everybody
that.
loves Donegan.
Yeah, right.
He keeps pushing us off though. I don't think he wants to be on the show. I think he's afraid of us.
Why?
I don't know. Mike, what did you say right before he switched the mic? So what were you talking about?
I don't know. They just wanted to shut me up, I guess.
I know. God damn it.
He was talking about
Kevin's screwed
how
our mojo.
if you bring manufacturing back to
Oh,
America,
yeah.
you're paying
Okay.
people $5 an hour. They're going to want a flat screen television.
They're going to want a flat screen television.
Life gets more
They're gonna want us,
expensive.
Well, this is why-
F-150 next,
This is obviously why Trump's backing off the tariffs.
They're going
I
to
think-
want insulin.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is gonna-
So,
yeah.
the more you pay,
I'd
that
be
was the Michael Morris thing. He would go down to Mexico and say, we got all this manufacturing days. These guys are making
Right.
$5 a day, but if we give them more money, they're going to want TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then we
and
got-
they might want eggs.
You give a mouse a cookie, he's
They're
going to
not
want
getting
some
chicken
milk.
wings, not here, that's for sure.
Yeah. Chicken wings are free tonight, by the way.
There are people that are saying it's going to be they're $1 a piece. There are people that say that
they're smaller than they were 8
right.
weeks ago.
Gonna let
This
those
short-
chickens grow up.
is this short-term pain is going to be worth it in 2 years?
That
That's what they're
seems
saying.
to be the line, right?
Yeah, of course, none of us know, but here's what I find very conspiratorial.
How much pain does my 401k have to take?
Okay, of course.
No, really, how much?
Okay, my thought is, and I could be wrong, and I hope to God I'm wrong. Hey, I wasn't done hacking that yet.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I think in the 2 years you're talking about when it's going to get better, they've sucked as much money possible out of the government and out of us, and all the oligarchs and Trump and his family are set for a gazillion years. That's what's going to happen.
Bezos' balance is not going down.
So my
No.
401k is not going to get more money, is what you're saying.
I don't think so, Mike.
Zuckerberg's not going to be hurt.
I think you're waiting a long time for that 401k to. In fact, I took everything out of the stock market like 4 weeks ago now, and I ran into my buddy who's pretty conservative at Super One.
Yeah.
Shut up. You want to see it?
Not me.
Um,
I'm in for the long haul, baby.
I'm
The
not.
ups
I was
and
like, you
downs
know
and
what?
around
No
and
way.
around.
I left my IRA. And my IRA is down about 25% or so. But
You you got to stop looking.
I know.
Right,
it's
right. That's your first
Take
problem.
It, you
yeah.
know, take
I
it
know.
like a good American.
Don't
take
even look.
it.
But
Close your eyes and think about a number that would make you happy. And
looking
just
at
pretend
stocks
it's
for
that.
about a half hour every morning is probably more healthy than social media, but probably not anymore. Actually, no,
Not
probably
anymore.
not.
No, you should play like Wordle in the morning. You know?
Right,
Do
yeah.
the mini.
Get your brain going. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. But all right, let's get on to Montana now, because Montana is kind of important to us. I'm going to tell you real quick.
You were up there, right? You went up there.
I went to Helena yesterday. I went to go look at Bullock's Bar to see the layout for our show. We're going to be there. Are you going to come, Mike, next Wednesday, do you think?
Well, it's kind of late, isn't it?
What do you mean late? It starts at 7. I'm getting a motel room. I'll get you a motel room. I told you. We'll talk about it after
Where
the show.
is the bar?
Yeah.
It's on Last Chance Gulch, right across from Windbag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right
but
downtown.
Eric's
there.
going to be there, right? Nyland's going to be there.
he's going to be there, and Jesse Lazovich.
Lazovich going to be there. You
Yep.
going to bring Laz a hat?
Bring him a hat.
Well, a hat. You know, he's going to be the only guy there without a hat.
Right. I didn't
He's
wear
gonna
mine
look-
tonight. Yeah.
We'd probably bring well, yeah, maybe he'll want a hat. Real quick about it. So I'm there, and, I'm talking to Mike and Eric, and we're all texting and being like, what's going on here? God damn it, Rosenjack. How do you clear out a bar? Give Rosenjack free beer. Anyway, so I shared an article that some lobbyists and Democrats did not like, and I've caught some heat for it. It was one of Eric's articles. And, whether it's, true or not, the object was to spark a debate and get some of these people to come out of the closet and tell me where the hell he's wrong, where I'm wrong. And, I like I said, I was called out, and I said, well, I go, listen, I want an explanation as to why I'm paying so much in property taxes. Now, I'm lucky. I own 5 properties here. I'm very lucky. But 3 of them were bought by the year 2000
You're
or
only
before.
going to get one homestead exemption.
I know. But when I bought those houses, one of them was $50,000.
Right.
One was $80,000. A commercial property was $100,000. I'm paying over $40,000 a year in tax. And I go, so this debate, we've got to talk about this. Hopefully this podcast is reaching a different audience that we're starting to get people to care more about
It's
it.
not.
I know. Mad About Montana has 76 followers. We have 1,800. So maybe take that. But what we're trying to do is explain to people that a guy like me, a guy like anybody, I'm a small business owner and I employ people. Between insurance and taxes, I'm at about $90,000 a year, which is more than probably 90% of Montanans make. I'm paying that in insurance. What could I pay my employees? What could I do to improve the lives of people around me if I'm not getting strangled like
You could
this?
have like free wings for all employees.
That's true. And cheese curds.
No, I'd rather give them Range Rovers. So, first, the good. I saw that they passed a bill to give teachers $100 million more.
Great.
Now that's
great.
I think there's 7,000 teachers in Montana. I think
They deserve
7,800.
more money.
They do.
Yeah.
$100 million isn't going to raise it all a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like Kevin's like, no, it's not. I'm going to be a teacher, bro, and it's not a lot. Wait. Kevin's got to plug in his mic.
Are they giving it directly to teachers?
I have no idea how it works. It's a fund.
They're not.
Mike knows.
No.
Or Kevin,
So
just
the
sit up
money
here.
allocated for the Flathead Valley is going to Talos Security.
Was that one not working?
Yeah.
So they're going to give, so it'll be for new teachers' wages, which is great. Love that. I mean, but on average, so the county also, or the district has to qualify for it at first.
Okay.
So they have to bring the base pay up to $41,000. And most B's and C schools aren't even close to that. So they have to levy to be able to get that. And if they pass a levy, great. Then they can apply for that opportunity. And then on average, it's only going to raise the starting teachers' wages $3,200.
Okay.
And that's it.
So I'm 22 years old. I'm a first grade teacher. I moved to Whitefish to work at Muldown.
Yeah.
How much money am I going to be making?
I think it's $44,000.
So it's cat food time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Cut Bank right now, starting teacher wage is $37,000.
Lord, go work at Town Pump.
Yeah. And make way more money.
Yeah, way more.
So, I mean, it's great. This is an opportunity. They started this. This is actually just an amendment to what they did in 2020, or the last legislature in 23. So they're adding more money to it, but it's just most of it's just going to sit there.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden that like Lockwood, they qualified for it because they
Lockwood,
were
love Lockwood.
They were a brand new school. So they qualified for all
right
the money.
outside of Billings.
Every single teacher got extra money.
Okay.
But now they can't qualify for it again because they raised the amount. So they have to go to a levy to be able to raise their teacher wages again to get more money.
Yeah, they should have done it more like Schweitzer did.
And the voters are
You know,
gonna say, I'm not
Schweitzer started
voting
the
for another
quality
levy.
educator stipend, and that money went directly to the teachers and bypassed the school boards.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Cut
Yeah.
Bank, you just said, what was it, like 30 something?
37,000.
What does a dishwasher at the tap house make, Ed? If they work full time here. Okay. It's probably bumping up pretty close to that.
Yeah, so 10K more to work to wash dishes. I mean, which is like is what it is. But when is Montana gonna want to say that we want to treat professionals like professionals because this is a professional thing,
Right.
And then like Wyoming did it 50 years ago, decided that we were gonna have the best schools in the country. Well, look at them now; they do, and they still pay the best in the country. So I mean, it's like if you just want to be behind for forever, great.
And not only that, they want to give the teachers guns in case there's a school shooting.
Yeah, because we all know that's going to turn out
That's
well.
crazy.
Anyways, there's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Kevin.
Teachers should have guns.
Well, that's always been my response. Is they
crazy.
go,
They're
if we
crazy
arm the
these days.
teachers, this won't happen. And then I say, okay, well, I guess we'll have to pay the teachers, I don't know, 4 to 5 times what they're making now. And they
we've
go,
talked-
oh, no way.
We've talked about this on our other podcast, The Fish Take, 2 years ago about teacher pay and how bad it is here. And we've had teachers on and we talk about it. But Montana, we rank about 14th in the country in education, I think, last I looked. And so they're getting away with murder. So, I think it's like if you got a business that's successful, your employees aren't asking for more money, even though you're making more money and they can see it, but they don't ask for it. Why give it to them? It seems that way. It shouldn't be because the government, it's not their money, it's our money. But you know how it is. Government acts like it's their money.
And when was the last time you saw a bond for like increased teacher pay? You never see that.
No.
What you see is like let's build a
I've
new
never
school
seen that.
and
I
let's
believe
spend
you-
$100
you
million
get your
in
ass
No shit, Mike.
infrastructure. And there's never like bonds to increase teacher pay. It's always about infrastructure.
Can there be? Yeah, there could be.
Don't see why
Yeah,
not.
that's what I mean. Yeah, we have beautiful schools that they're building, food courts, coffee shops, all this shit, and the
man.
teachers can't afford to eat at them. I'm sure. Like that is brutal. Think about being a teacher, especially in Whitefish, where the average kid's parents makes 10,000 times what you do.
I don't know how they make it work, to be honest with you.
I don't either. Well,
Like,
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, they have second jobs. A lot of it is second jobs. I mean,
that's a shame.
It is a shame. Well, yeah. I mean, cops have second jobs. Firemen have second jobs. I mean, again, the richest country in the world. 50 million starving people in this country, and the winner of the Masters got $4.2 million.
An Irishman.
Fuck.
He did.
deserves
yeah.
He worked
Yeah,
really
Northern
hard
Ireland,
for it.
I know, yeah.
He worked
Northern
really
Ireland.
hard for it, having
he
wealthy
flies the
parents.
British flag, yeah.
Like a lot of these pro golfers, they're born with golf clubs in their
So
hands.
that's an interesting question. I thought about that too with these sports contracts that get higher and higher and higher. Do you think there's a breaking point?
No, there never has been.
Like, do you think that there'd be a point where it's like, all right, Patrick Mahomes just signed a 5-year, $3 billion contract. I'm done with the NFL. I won't watch anymore. Do you think there's a breaking point?
No, because they're going to keep charging more fees for your cable TV, for your
Well, that's what I
broadcasting
mean.
rights,
It
for your
gets to the
tickets.
point where it's like, look, I love watching football, but
Dude, it's for rich people only. There's enough rich people in this country. Like, I love going to football games, but we went to a game. The last game I went to was in Phoenix, and it was the Packers and Cardinals, and I think we had the nosebleed seats. They were like $380 a piece.
they're expensive.
Dude, so you got to be wealthy to go to any major sporting event. I mean, except baseball. You still can get cheap bleacher seats at baseballs, but you're getting fucking
got-
$25 hot dogs.
There's 81 home games.
They're making their money somehow, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think there's any ceiling for that. But let's talk about Montana.
I mean, it's expensive these days to live.
To do anything.
To do anything, whether you have to pay your insurance or now your
Right.
property
And
taxes.
I don't
mean,
understand-
life is expensive.
I don't know how people are doing
And
it.
it happened like in 8 years.
Yeah,
It
just
did.
kind of all of a sudden.
You're right. It really wasn't that expensive. I think COVID showed that You know, people will spend whatever they have to have fun or do whatever because they sure
telling you,
did
man.
during COVID.
In
I
20,
mean,
25 years, we're going to look back on COVID, and there's going to be studies, and it's going to be mind-blowing.
it will be. It will be
gonna be
what it did
crazy.
to us.
Yep.
What it did to us.
Yep.
And what happens if we had a real pandemic, like one that actually,
They
you know.
say one's coming, but I don't know. I'm really.
I mean, they always
the
say
bird
it.
flu. They say
Who
this
cares?
is going to be real bad.
I'd
but-
say get rid of all the people in charge and all the scientists like we're doing now because if we ignore it, it will go away.
Right. What does Hegseth have to say about this?
He says, give me another one.
Right. He says, I said no ice.
No ice, goddammit.
Yeah.
You give me ice again, I'm going to fucking murder you.
But going back to what you're talking about, Ed, you know, you mentioned that you shared this article and people are upset about it.
Yes.
And the reason people get upset about shining light on stuff is because they're in on the deal.
So, okay.
Okay,
maybe I missed
Mike,
it.
that-
So
you know,
that's why people get upset.
What was the article? Maybe I missed it.
It was from Eric Nyland, the Mad About Montana podcast, talking about, you know, the
was about lobbyists.
He starts off like, you know, we have 800 registered lobbyists in Montana, and that should floor a lot of people. And like in the Capitol yesterday, and every time I go there, I see a lot of suits in the hallways on every floor. Everybody's sitting down on their phones. I'm like, who are these people?
How many
They're
lobbyists?
not legislators.
How many lobbyists are in Idaho?
I don't know. Did you look it up, Kevin?
I think it was like 300 and something.
No.
Almost 400.
Holy fuck.
So we have twice.
They
the
have
amount
twice
of
as many
lobbyists.
people as we do.
I mean, we're twice as good a state.
Well,
Right.
we
Oh,
are.
that's
You're
true.
right. Okay, Mike. Okay, Mike. Always with the words of wisdom. Idaho only has 300. Wow, we have 800.
Which I see, they're all Republicans, so you know what they're going to do anyway. They don't need lobbyists.
True. We're a little more purple than they are. You're right. They're going to do what they want anyway.
A little. Not much. But
We do have a lot of minerals and a lot of things that are worth a lot of money, I suppose. Maybe that's something
But
to
I
do
had
with it.
that same experience, people
Not
getting
coal.
upset. You know,
Right.
when this property tax debate was kind of going on, I went on the legislative
good.
website and I said, how do I contact my legislators? And I pulled up their information and there's all their cell phone numbers. So I'm like texting
Yeah.
some of these guys and said, hey, look, pay attention to this bill. This is important for us back home. And those guys got so upset. They went to the press and they said that, hey, we got a bunch of old-timer Democrats, you know, texting us and telling us what we should be thinking.
How
and
dare
we're
they.
just listening to the guys in the hallway and never mind these people back home. And I was like, whoa, what has changed?
it's almost as if it's a representative democracy that we're living in. Boy,
Yeah,
that's
we don't want
boy,
that.
That's funny.
So,
Weird.
okay. I mean, and this is where we're going. And it has gotten worse here session by session. What is that? What is that? Oh. Oh, yeah, let's listen to Mary. I got to talk to her. I got to talk to her,
What a
and
rock star she is.
she's fucking awesome.
Who is Mary Capero?
She's hot grandma.
Income tax break, most of which will go to wealthy people. We do not support that. It's unfair. It doesn't help working class folks, and it definitely doesn't. It definitely is not something that the public is crying for. Do not support robbing people of the essential services, the public education, and the safety that they need by giving income tax breaks to people who absolutely don't need them.
You know what she's talking about is
So which bill is this?
that's Laird.
The income tax. Is it the budget or no?
No, that's Laird's bill. Speaker Laird passed
Oh, Laird.
income tax cut, top-end income tax cut.
Right.
And it cost Montana $300 million a year, ongoing money. And so
To give the richest people the more of the break.
yeah, because
And this is a conservative
they
thing.
deserve it. You know?
Right.
You know, there's nothing wrong
Well,
with that.
they
but
believe
it
in
does
God and they're
cost
conservative.
$300 million ongoing. And so what's that causing in Montana's budget is this hole that they can't fill. And because Montana has a constitutional requirement that you have to have a balanced budget. And
Right.
so when they give the huge income tax cut, the revenue stops going in. They need to figure out where to get that money. Where they're getting that money is property taxes.
Well, that's the only place
And-
they got to get it from.
And so they're
Ed
targeting
pays $40,000 a year.
they're
Yeah,
targeting
over.
middle Montana with tax increases. They're spinning it and saying they're not, but that's what they're doing. Their property tax property reappraisal bill generates $100 million per year to the state ongoing. So that's their used offset a portion of the income tax cuts. They're playing those shell
Mike, tell me
games.
how they can come up with a budget without passing a property tax bill. They can't, because they wouldn't know the budget without a property tax bill, right?
If they went to the 0.76 rate and gave everyone the revenue neutral thing, they couldn't pass the income tax bill.
So, but what I'm saying is, the House Bill 2 is the budget, right?
It is, yep. That's
And they're about to pass this. Before they pass any kind of property tax reform, how can they come up with a budget without knowing what the numbers for property tax are going to be?
They know what the numbers are.
They know, without a bill
They know.
even passed.
They know.
They know. Okay. Well, that sucks.
I mean, the revenue department has all the taxable values
True.
of everyone in the Montana and knows how much your house is worth and knows how much the new rates are going to be. And they've done that calculation already. They know that bill is going to generate $100 million a year.
Right.
And they're like, no, we need that money because we got to lower these top-end income taxes.
So, Kevin, you said the $100 million for teachers isn't like that great. It seemed like it was good.
It's
but
it's a start.
it's a start.
It's a one-time influx of money for a few people.
Oh, God. One other bill they passed, which I agreed with, I thought was okay, was increasing out-of-state hunter fees. I had no problem with that. From
Yeah.
$15 to $100 for like a deer.
Well, there was all that blowback from getting a tag for every, what was it, 25 acres? What was all that
Okay,
deal,
2,500 acres.
Yeah.
So if you have 10,000 acres, you can get like 10 tags for deer and 8 elk and 10 deer. Where you know what, billionaires could go and buy that land and that's
Sure.
it. And that's happening though too. I mean, people are buying a lot of land to have hunting so people can hunt, and you know they're attracting elk onto their land, they're attracting deer so people can go hunt. And I mean, because it might be easier for somebody else, say, to pay somebody like Tim Sheehy $10,000 to hunt on his land. It'd be a lot easier. You know, cheap or expensive, but to those people, they don't really care.
No, they don't care.
But they, I mean, in my opinion, they could charge out-of-state hunters more. Why do you got to come here to kill a deer? They're in
Yeah.
all 50 fucking states,
Right.
dude. I think they even have them in Hawaii. I mean, it's not.
Do they have deer in Hawaii?
I don't know. You know,
Maybe.
they have cats and mongooses. I know that,
kidding.
and they fight. It's fucking awesome.
All
It's
right.
kind of cool. Passing Medicaid, I thought that was a good one, and it took.
That was, but let's be frank, that was going to pass no matter what.
So you think so? You don't think that had anything to do with the nasty nine? No, it was
No,
going to pass.
that was
They
gonna
had to. Their
pass.
constituents would have killed them, right?
The entire hospital association and the
Yeah.
hordes
Yes.
of lobbyists
It
was
would've
going
been
to
bad.
make sure that was
It
going to
would've been
pass.
There was only
There was
three.
no question that was
I think
gonna
there was
pass.
only 3 opponents and like 50 proponents,
Yeah.
like when it came to
You
hearings
would
on
have had
that.
people dying of heart attacks in their car driving to a hospital that's 110 miles away.
That was
that
the
can't happen.
worst deal the Democrats made because that
Can't
bill
happen.
was passing all by itself. Whatever they gave up
So
to
they
get
didn't-
that to pass, gone.
Yeah, that one was passed.
Did they give up a lot? Do you
I
think?
don't know what they gave up, and that's why they're upset because you're asking the questions.
Yeah.
Right. Well, right. Well, you know what? We should ask the questions.
Sure.
I mean, shouldn't we?
Why
You
not?
know? So let's get into the property tax now, because Mike, you know way more. It's so fucking confusing.
No, it's so simple.
Simple.
No, don't say that. I was at the Capitol yesterday, running all around there, trying to find out what hearings went. So when I was talking to you, and it was supposed to be the hearing was supposed to be at 3:30. Appropriations I had 8 items left at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to sit here and wait till 10 o'clock tonight to watch this debate. That's probably not going to make me happy anyway. But you make it simple. You tell us how many bills are left and what's important.
Let's go back, okay? Let's go back to 2023.
Let's go back to the future.
Deal
Right.
started.
Okay.
In 2023, okay.
Yep. All those lawmakers up in Helena, they said, we're not going to fix reappraisal because we want that money.
Yes.
Okay.
They want that money. They didn't do a damn thing in 2023. They created this crisis, and now 2025 reappraisal is coming up, and it's going to basically increase home values in Flathead 80%.
Come on. That seems insanely high.
80% in 4 years. And so your $400,000 home, 80% increase is up to $750,000.
Okay, so,
And so, that's what they've allowed to do. And the reason you want that to happen is the higher the taxable values are, the more money the state collects.
right, of
Because-
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy
And
math.
so, the reason
It's not fuzzy.
folks are upset in Helena is because somebody called them out and said, no, you can't keep taxing us that way.
Right.
And so they're upset. And great.
Well, Mary was one of the people that voted. She was one of the. I think maybe you wrote a Facebook thing today about that, or was that yesterday?
No, Mary's a rock star. I mean, isn't she like cousins with Velvet or something like that?
I think they are related. Oh yeah, dude. Carl and. Oh man, Carl. He was in your grade. I think it's Mary.
Carl Crittenden?
McConnell. Carl McConnell. Remember him and his sister at all? Anyway, that's Mary's their niece and their aunt.
Mary's one of my rock star homeowner heroes. I mean, the work that she did is just amazing. She's one of the folks that really understood that you can't take people's extra money because you reappraise their house. And she's like, no,
They're gonna
do
try.
great, let them keep it back. She had that great floor amendment that tried to increase the 0.76 rate to 2.5 times.
But
the
that got
median
killed,
value.
right?
Yep.
That got killed.
Republicans killed that. Yep. Well, plus the Missoula Democrats. Let's be clear about that. It was the Missoula Democrats that kind of hosed us on this deal. But so going back, let's just start over.
Okay.
2023, 2025, increased values, property taxes shot up, corporate taxes as a result go
Down.
way down. Way down.
They're trying to draw
I have an
business-
S corp, but I don't think mine are going
They're
down.
trying to draw business into Montana,
Yeah.
right?
And so what the 528 bill, this burn bill,
Even though nobody employees can afford to live here.
Right.
yeah, the
Well,
burn bill, the 528,
528.
which kind of neutered both reappraisals with just one rate, 0.76, no questions, no applications, no FTE. You're just going to pay the same taxes you did in 2023 because we messed it up.
Well, the argument is they're already planning on this money, though.
Yeah, but so that bill unshifts it. It basically unshifts it. It takes the money back from the corporations and gives it to the homeowners at the local level. That's what it does.
No.
And so
Not on
that's
my
why
watch,
Lou
Mike.
Jones sent out that email to all his corporate, lobbyist
Yeah.
buddies, and they filed into the Capitol. I swear it was
that's
out the door.
I don't understand this. What does Jones? What's his play here?
Well, he might have some interest somewhere else that we don't know about because all these guys got LLCs and all sorts of other businesses.
Right.
And, if he's manipulating numbers, he might be making money on the other end. I have no idea. But just the fact that he would call his industry lobbyists to come in and squash a homeowner property tax bill is just outrageous.
Yeah.
Outrageous. And so 528, that bill that we're talking about, the Republicans have killed it now.
It's done?
It's done. The Republicans
Oh, it is
just
done. Today.
killed it in the Senate.
So 542 is still
Yep.
alive.
Yeah.
And
The
in
one
the
we have to
Senate, every Republican voted against it.
Yeah,
They're
the
like,
property
nope,
tax
we're
bill is
not
dead.
giving you your money back. We're killing that bill. And
Again,
some
three Democrats?
3 Democrats, Boldman, Newman, and
Yeah.
Laura Smith.
What's-
And on the House side, it was S.J. Howell and Zoe Zephyr. They all voted against it for whatever reason. And they're all from high growth districts.
Yeah. Missoula.
Right.
Yeah. They're all from high growth districts.
I don't understand Zoe's. Okay, I'm going to say something about Zoe real quick. Yesterday I was there. I did watch the House floor debate a little bit about Senate Bill 150. I remember his house. It was about cigar lounges. I mean, whatever. It's probably Mary voted for it.
What's
But
next?
Mary's
Marijuana lounges?
Okay, that's where I'm going. But that's not, kind of what Zoe said. But even Cavero voted for it, but
cares?
she's kind of a
Marijuana?
libertarian. Well, I'm saying, let people do what they want, but Zoe made a good point saying, listen, you're doing this now, but this is a Clean Air Act. We have this for a reason.
I guess.
And now, if you do, I know.
Yeah.
And pussies. We
Right.
smoke in here after hours, just letting you know.
Yes,
Just kidding.
No, he's not.
But, she says, you're starting with cigars. Then what happens when you go to cigarettes and then marijuana? Because, God knows, a lot of you hate the fucking smell of marijuana.
Right.
This
You go to
lady goes,
marijuana, and then you might order a pizza. No good.
Don't want that. Do
yeah.
not want that.
Your wing sales might go up.
My wing sales would go up, I think. So
Oh my God,
somebody,
we're
and I think
talking-
it might have been Cheryl Seekins Crow. I think it might have been her. I don't know for sure, but she's talking about this. She goes, "You're talking about the Clean Air Act? What about these marijuana dispensaries and these marijuana farms and how horrible they smell? They're not doing anything about that." I'm like,
Okay.
dude, half of us live next to fucking manure fields and shit. Stop, just stop.
We didn't all grow up in Wisconsin, Ed.
Anyway, yeah, you're right. I know. But
They loved it when you got on the school bus, didn't they?
yeah, yeah. But the people,
Go Vikings.
I think every time I go there and watch, find it interesting to watch House and Senate debates.
Oh, it's fascinating.
It really is. Especially for like nerds like me and us and stuff. But they get these people's, they get their opinions, get their their views on things. But when you read in the media and you see how crazy Zoe Zephyr is, this is what all you hear. So I've met her, I've watched her testify a few times. I'm like, she's pretty smart. I mean, she's very smart. I'm very happy she's a politician in Montana.
Sure.
Much like I'm very happy Mary Cafaro is. I've always been very happy Dave Fern is. Here's our next deal. What's up with Fern and our property tax and his love for GN14's bill? I know he's been working on the property task force for 2 years with him.
Yep.
He's really happy with this bill. He says it's going to help me, this and that. He told me 542 or 28 was going to hurt my business. It's going to hurt your business. That's why we got to get rid of it.
He voted for 528.
No, I did see that. I see he voted for it.
Yeah.
But he's a supporter of 542.
Yep.
Where's Dave coming from? What's going on with Dave?
I
Do we got to primary him or what? What's going on?
No, I'm not primarying Dave.
Why not? I asked you to.
That was your gig.
Death sentence. Yeah.
Yeah. But let me explain 542 for you for a little bit
Yes.
so you understand.
We need to know. I need a beer. Need a beer.
And so, 542 still generates
seltzer.
$100 million for the state.
Okay.
100 million. That
$100
number's for
million
everything.
for the-
Teachers, this.
And it does. And it, about 2.5 times, 3.5 times more at the local levels. There's still the baked-in shifting that's going to happen. Homeowners are still going to be paying for industry taxes, so that what you're going to feel is a little bit greater. Now, 542 does several things. One of the first things it does is it gives you $400 the first year credit. You're going to see that on your tax bill. And
I have to apply for it, though.
no. Well,
automatic.
if you got your rebate last time, you
$400.
auto qualify.
Oh, that's
60,000
better.
Montanans we know didn't get their rebate, so they don't qualify. If you live on a native reservation, about 10,000 of those folks don't qualify, even though they pay property taxes
So
on
my
fee
tax,
land.
what I've read, my house is worth just over $1 million, like all of ours in Montana. My taxes could go up $1,300 from what I've read, but I could get a $400 credit.
Yep. Now there's more to this story.
900
Okay,
bucks.
all right,
Yeah.
keep going, because this is fucking confusing. You say it's easy.
Yeah. So
I
let me
got
back
it, I'm
up on
following you.
542 where it came
I got
from.
you, yeah.
Where 542 came from, right? 231 was a bill that
Jesus
ran
Christ,
into
another
trouble
number.
in the Senate, and Dave Fern was kind of pushing that, and it ran
Yeah.
into trouble,
Okay.
and it got all sideways on him. So
Died.
what the House Democrats did, they threw their
I'm listening, Mike. Yeah.
I know Ed is too, and I lose track when he starts looking around. But so
Sorry.
the House Democrats
Thirsty, we're both thirsty.
from Missoula, they threw their Democratic leader Katie Sullivan out of the bus.
So why?
And they went and negotiated this in-house tax with the Republicans, and what they did was they took 3 different bills that people were already calling Frankenstein. They threw
Put
them
them
into
together.
one bill. Now it's a 55-page bill.
And that's
They-
542 now.
Yep, they threw that onto the House floor, and you heard the confusion. People were like, we
Yeah.
have no idea what's in this bill. There's no fiscal note, and we just have to, trust somebody that there's
Yeah.
something in
Right.
this bill.
Well,
I mean, the
that's-
testimony, even from the Republicans, was just they're like, I guess I should vote for this.
I saw that.
Yep. And so, they had a 55-page reappraisal bill to change 3 numbers that need to be changed. 3 numbers needed to be changed. The ag number needed to be neutralized, the small commercial business number needed to be neutralized, and the homeowner number needed to be neutralized. That's all that had to happen. And they came up with this 55-page lobbyist-infested bill.
So
that
what's
was my
in there?
next.
So
That
what's
was
in
my-
there?
Yep. So
Did you read it?
Oh, yeah.
Of course you did.
Yep. I read
Thank
the
you.
damn
Thanks,
thing
Mike.
from
That's why you're
bottom
here.
to top. Actually, my friend Evan Barrett and I, we testified probably on 8 different bills in Helena on property taxes, and all with the 0.76 tax rate going back to the Montana homeowners. And the reason we did that, and the reason I kind of got involved, is because Montana's been pretty kind to me. They taught me a lot when I was elected to Helena.
Right,
And
yeah.
I remember Dan Bucks putting up with my nonsense for days on days and providing me, not trash bags, but that's what it ended up being, but file cabinets full of paperwork to try to analyze what's going to happen. And they kind of explained the process to me. So Montana gave me all this information. I'm just a dirt farmer. Why should I have this information? But it's because Montana taught me.
Like
Through
John
committee
Tesser's a dirt
meetings.
farmer.
Yeah.
Liberal.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Montana taught me. So I have this information. I understand how the process works. So we ended up testifying on about 8 different bills that neutered both the 23 and 25 reappraisal process. We followed them right from day one, actually back from November, but when we find out the interim revenue committee wasn't thinking about the 0.76. It was like, whoa, what about 23 reappraisal? We got to neuter that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so 542 kind of emerges from House tax, 55-page Frankenstein, zombie, they're calling it all sorts of things. Nobody knows what the hell's in it. Half the Democrats on the House floor are newbies. I'm sure it's the same for the Republicans, too.
Yes,
They're
yes.
just like, oh, my God, I got to read this thing. I've already heard testimony.
It's
on
3 o'clock.
80
I'm super
other
drunk.
bills.
I can't read. Yeah. Oh God.
And so $400 the first year. as well as some wicked tiered.
That doesn't seem like a lot of money.
No, but they're also going to reduce some rates the first year, and the first year applies to everybody. And so in rural Montana, you're going to be thrilled. Because your property, you're going to get a nice tax cut in rural Montana.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. But in urban Montana, you're not going to really be that thrilled. Even the first year, you're going to be like, look, if you live in an average home in.
When you're
in
talking
the
about urban
Flathead-
Montana, are you talking about like Billings or every
urban,
town?
Pretty much anywhere there's fast growth.
Okay.
Anywhere where-
Bozeman,
all of our
yeah,
cities.
Flathead.
Anywhere, it's the boot. It's
Haver.
from down here to
Not
Missoula,
Valier.
to Bozeman, to Billings. It's that old boot that Schweitzer used to talk about, where the growth is
Yeah.
happening. It's where all the school funding money really comes from.
Right.
Because that's where their development is. And so $400, a little bit of rate tier reduction first year, everybody gets it. If you got the rebate before you get the $400, otherwise everyone else gets the rate reduction. For folks in the Flathead, you're going to be like, And the
Whatever.
reason you're going to be like that is because the 31% revaluation from the 2025 reappraisal is going to hit in June. And so they're
Right.
reducing the rate, and the reappraisal valuation is going to hit, and it's going to be pretty much even. Yeah, there'll be some winners and some losers, but most folks will be like, what? This guy spent all that time, and I got
Yeah.
you know? And so no problem with the first year. It's kind of like a little sugar high to me. You get $400, and you're like, woo,
Right. Well,
you
wasn't
know?
it $675? The last thing I applied for.
Well,
I believe I got $675.
Yeah, I want to say it was about $600.
deflation, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. I mean, no, really.
Yeah. But the problem on this bill starts next year. In 2026, the real problem for 524 really starts next year. Next year is when you have to apply.
Okay.
And if you have more than one principal dwelling, none of those other dwellings.
Not me. Yep.
Well, the same as in the past. In the past, you could only do your
I'm
residence
not
you
Ed.
lived
I
in.
own one house.
No.
I'm not
In
Ed.
the past, it was always the same rate for every residential building in Montana. This is the first time we're doing this where we're going
Wait
to
a
start
second. I wasn't
taxing
able to
people
get,
more.
but they wouldn't let me get the rebate only on my primary
We're not
house.
talking about the rebate.
Oh.
The second year has no rebate.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Second year is just it's there.
It's just a rate cut.
Okay.
It's just a rate cut on the second year. And it's a graduated rate cut, depends on the value of your home. And so if you live in a $320,000
Where does that
dollar
exist?
home.
Where?
That's in Haver.
Haver. Yeah, that's
if
a
you live in
low end home in
320
Haver.
home, they will neuter both the 23 and the 25 reappraisal for you.
Oh,
Okay? If you live in a 320 home. If you live
because there aren't many of them. That's probably why they did that.
no,
Well, it's
in
like you
rural
said,
Montana,
rural,
there really
yeah,
are.
The rural people are going to get
Oh,
a
rural people. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, real people
that's
will.
what you said, yeah.
Now, if you live in a 600,000 and 50,000, 700,000 home, right?
Right.
They're going to charge you 18% more.
Fuck.
Which is a nice shack in Bozeman.
yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
$700,000.
Or here.
Yeah,
It's a
or here.
shack.
Yeah, right. 3 walls. You don't get the 4th
So
wall.
700,000.
Yeah.
So who?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
and
do they
then
come
the-
up with these numbers?
Well,
So about every $300,000 it
well, the
changes.
Missoula Democrats and Lou Jones kind of cooked up the scheme. And then the next rate.
Why is Lou Jones from Columbus Republican working with Missoula Democrats?
I don't really know. I mean, people like to make deals. When you make deals, you feel powerful.
You sound like Dave Fern now.
It's true, though. I mean,
Dave loves-
it gives you
Yeah.
really that power. and
Art
then-
of the deal.
Then you're,
Yeah.
then you're like part of those little group of people
Welcome to
in
Mike
Helena
Jopek's
that
Art
have
of the Deal this
information,
evening.
and
Yeah.
you know nobody else does, and the lobbyists are treating me good because I'm
yeah.
part of the
Well,
deal.
I guess they're making you feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the game, and so.
So 13% on 700,000.
18% is the next
Oh,
tier
18.
up. The next tier up, and this is the tier that's going to hit $800,000 homes.
That sounds like Ed's house.
Yep.
Yep.
Pretty much.
45% up from.
No.
Oh yeah.
No way.
Oh.
No. I'm basing it at 45% higher, 45% extra.
I know.
Than,
How can that
than
be?
the-
You better start
and
cranking
so
out wings,
for the
buddy.
$800,000 home,
What?
they are not going to neuter the 2023 reappraisal. They're saying that's baked in the cake. We're just going to take care of the 2025 reappraisal for you guys for the $800,000 home people. Now, once you get up to the 1.2 or $3 million home, it's 150% increase.
Okay, I'm out.
150% increase over the neutered rate. And so they're not
Come
even.
on, you can't do it. Come on.
That's what they're doing. And so in that instance.
And you think this is what's most likely to pass?
Oh, yeah. And in that instance, they are not taking care of the 23 appraisal. They're not taking care of the 25 reappraisal. They're just going to let the full weight of all that stuff come and hit you at a higher tax rate.
So Missoula, Flathead, and Gallatin counties are going to get really screwed.
Yep.
Because a regular middle-class house in Whitefish is about $1.2 million. It just is.
Yep. And so think about how this plays out. This is
So
like
they hate us.
This is like the double or triple whammy. They've allowed the tax values of homes to increase by pumping up. The states come in and they pumped up the tax values by $1.4 billion on homes all across Montana. It's mostly in these urban areas. They've really pumped them up. And now they want to keep them up there. And then they want to keep them up there. And then they want to give you the higher tax rate.
Oh,
and so
my
they're double
God.
dipping. And so what ends up happening.
Who's letting them do this?
Well, Missoula Democrats.
You and I.
It's our fault.
Yep. And so what ends up happening, and this is school funding money now. Now, school equalization money. It's the 101 mills, 95 mills, plus the 6 university mills. It's kind of school kind of stuff.
Holy
And a portion of the
smokes.
school equalization money is spread out through Montana. And so because the higher valuation urban counties have the higher valuation tax rate, they're going to take school equalization money out of these urban districts and ship them to the rural districts and shortfall how much we get back because our tax valuations are high. And then we're going to have extreme dip. Not only are we losing that school equalization money from the valley, from all these growth areas, we can't pass local bonds.
No, we're not going to. No, not with
because
this.
the taxes are still high.
So explain to me, so, you know, this is the bill that the lobbyists are supporting, and this is, why? Why are they supporting, you know, to me, it just makes sense.
Because it doesn't, lobbyist industry doesn't have to give homeowners their money back. It's that simple.
I mean, Jesus Christ. You
Makes
know, you're
sense to
looking at 70% of the houses in Whitefish and probably 40% of the houses in the greater Kalispell area having a significant tax increase then.
Significant.
In November, they're going to see a big fucking bill.
Yeah.
No matter what, because is that the only thing with legs right now?
Yeah, that's the only thing with legs now.
So say they
it went through second reading on the House. That's where Mary Cafaro tried to increase the threshold for the homes that would qualify for the 0.76, and she was going to get about 85 to 90% of the homes in Montana under that classification by increasing that threshold. So it was a really powerful amendment. It was very similar to the amendment she originally put on 231 in House Appropriations with Debo Powers and those guys. You know, very similar kind of amendment, very helpful for people.
Right.
And so the Republicans said, nope, we're not doing that. Even Lynn Bennett from Columbia Falls said, no, that's too much money for my people.
What do they do? Like, yeah, I guess I don't. I just don't understand why. I don't understand why most of Montana's Republican or Democrat aren't trying to help the people, you know, that make this state work. I don't understand why last session we had like a Prop 19 kind of introduced to you know, keep the homesteaders, the people who have been here a long time, keep their rates low. That went nowhere.
It's the big question.
It was bastardized as a liberal bill, California liberal bill. I mean, there's something going on here where nobody seems to really be supporting the regular working person in Montana.
No, they rigged reappraisal. They absolutely rigged reappraisal. And when Katie Sullivan, the minority leader, the Democratic leader in the House, tried to make sure this bill went to appropriations, which is the normal process for bills to go, big revenue bills go to appropriations, especially if you don't have a fiscal note, so you know how much money you're spending.
Right.
You send it down to appropriations. Republicans objected, said, no, we want to put this to final vote. It's up for final vote tomorrow. And 24 of the 42 Democrats threw their own Democratic Party leader under the bus and put it on third reading.
Sullivan you're talking about.
Yeah.
So what was the
And
strategy?
that was
What's the strategy?
Missoula Democrats. They
What's the
cut
strategy?
deal.
What's the strategy? What are they getting out of it? Like, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy. Well, it's a deal. Look, they cut this deal with the Republicans, the Nasty Nine, and all those guys.
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
We're going to get this, this, and this, and whatever that, and that was. I don't fully know, but there's a deal out there, and this is the payment for the deal. The Democrats have to pass this bill to make up for the deal. And if the deal was part of Medicaid expansion, it was a terrible deal.
It was, because that was going to pass anyway.
There's so many other juicy things going on. Like, from what I hear, Regeer might be on the last day.
That'd be nice.
That'd be cool. It'd be fun. But with this property tax, this is taking up everything. It's taking up everything. People aren't even talking about the budget. I don't even think they give a shit about the budget. Like, say you pass this property tax bill, you get 542. To pass the budget, 542 gets vetoed from the governor.
No.
Say that happens. It's not going to happen.
What Democrats should have done, what Republicans should have done on day one, they should have passed this 528 rate reduction. Said,
Well, it seems simple.
and they should have said, we messed up. We should have done this in 2023. We didn't. We're going to do it on day one on 2025 so that homeowners aren't taxed out. And right now they come up with this crazy idea where you actually have to apply to get the
Of course, it's
homestead.
stupid.
You have to apply.
Right.
And
That's
They
so
love paperwork.
some people auto apply, but there's going to be about 100,000 Montana homeowners, mark my word, who aren't going to qualify. And what that means is their tax rate is going from 1.35 to 1.9 next
Jeez.
year automatically. And then they're going to get that reappraisal bump on top of them.
Wow.
So if you don't qualify, your property taxes are literally going up 50%.
God damn it, dude. That means I'd be paying about $8,000 on my house.
So how much
Fuck.
time do we have left, Mike, before the legislative session is adjourned?
It was going to end this Friday, but I think it's going to go till Tuesday or Wednesday, from what I hear.
Because it has to end
Best
with
of intentions.
within 90 days.
Yeah, within
right?
Well, it
90
has to
days,
end
yeah.
next Friday. I think there's 9 days left as of today.
When
No,
I ca-
79 was yesterday. Today's 80. They have 10 days.
Yeah, when I carried the last 6-year reappraisal bill that Montana did, I carried that for a joint select committee on reappraisal. That bill passed the legislature on day 90.
Oh, wow.
Well, we're going to see a lot of weird shit next week.
yeah,
I know we will. I mean,
And-
I might want to just, we have our show in Helena next
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
I might stay there all week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it
so-
was the same shenanigans then. We had a good House bill. In this instance, we had a good House bill because the folks in the House understood what was happening back
Yeah.
then. We sent it to the Senate. The Senate Republicans, Essman, I think, was the guy at the time. They put all
God,
this
Jeff
weird,
Essman was the
wacky
worst.
stuff in there to give developers tax breaks on development, that kind of stuff. And they turned the bill upside down, and it's like,
Yeah.
I am not voting for that.
You know, I thought it was so
And
bad.
So we took them all the way to day 90 until we could get some of those changes back. And everyone's like, "You're going to make us do special session on reappraisals?" It's like, great, have at it.
Yeah.
Let's come back.
Go nuts.
Remember Kerry
You're
Smith?
not overcharging homeowners with something I'm carrying.
Kerry Smith, Jeff Essman, and Steve Knox, and all these players back then. I thought they were the worst bunch of politicians Montana's ever seen. They were horrible. And look at they're getting outdone right now.
Yeah.
Basically, you're saying so the lobbyists won when it comes to property tax,
The lobbyists won, yeah.
and the lobbyist friends I have are going to tell me I'm wrong, and you're wrong, of course.
No.
I don't know what
you-
the fuck
you
they're
are
getting
not
out of it.
wrong. I mean, I know some of the lobbyists that are working up there, and there are Democratic lobbyists.
Oh,
up
yeah.
there.
No, they
some
are.
of them sit on
And
the
those are the ones that
executive
are mad at
committee
me.
on the Democratic Party, and they have no business lobbying against homeowners.
Right. These are some of them are my friends.
They are my friends. I know them well.
So you better go to Helena with us next week.
So where are we going to be next week?
We're at Brothers Tapworks on Last Chance Gulch.
Wednesday, 7 o'clock.
Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Yep. Yeah. So is there anything so there's nothing else left alive that's going to help us? 542 is what we're going to live with. Unless something gets brought back.
There's nothing left alive, but everything's left alive.
Right.
You're right,
And-
because we don't know.
Anything can happen,
But
or
it'd
nothing
be
can
the
happen.
biggest Hail Mary Aaron Rodgers has ever thrown, and he's thrown some great ones.
No, he
Admit
hasn't.
it.
No,
Admit
he
it. Yes, he has.
hasn't.
Yeah.
Dante
Look at-
Culpepper.
Oh, shut up.
Lou Jones has got this other bill in the Senate right now, 924. It's
Okay, I just read about that today.
$2 billion slush fund, trust fund.
I just read that
does
today.
All these wacky things. They dumped a 50-page amendment onto the House floor trying
right,
to
wow.
explain to people how are you spending $1.2 billion, and you guys are debating it.
Save some for next week, Mike. I mean, this sounds saucy.
That is, well, that's a thing.
And so, when I say it's nothing's dead, You know, that bill popped out of anywhere.
You're right, you're
Nowhere.
right.
It started having trouble in the Senate. Lou Jones went back to Appropriations Committee. He popped out another bill, 287, I think is the number. That's coming on the House floor in the upcoming days. Same kind of thing, $1.2 billion. You know, what it smells to me like is kind of like deregulation.
It details all the deregulation, money they need for
jammed all
something.
this thing up at the end. They said, vote for it. It's good stuff. Believe us. And it didn't.
Don't bother
really,
reading it.
You know, and anybody who thought that Montana, who had 2 cents a kilowatt power, was going to get cheaper power was drinking something weird, you know?
Yeah.
It's just something, or smoking something weird, or sniffing something weird. I mean, cocaine smells really good, so I don't
does,
blame them,
yeah.
you know. All right, you know
Well-
what, Mike? You got to go to Helena with us, I think.
Well,
I think you're open.
As always, Mike, thank you.
Yeah,
No,
you're going to
Thank
have to
you.
go because we.
But look, this thing is not dead.
It's not
It is
over.
coming at you,
Yeah.
but I can tell you, it's going to be a fiasco in 2026. What these Democrats in Missoula are doing is they're going to force every elected state official to try to explain to homeowners
Why they did this.
why you have to do this, why
Yeah.
I don't qualify, why my cabin in the woods gets charged extra, why my barn taxes just went up 31%. You know, they have all these carve-outs. Am I only renting for this many months? Oh my gosh, I have to fill out paperwork for that too. And so they think that this thing is like, it modeled so well, but they haven't talked to anybody on the hometown to see how it actually models.
No, well, obviously not.
Yeah.
Well, I think sometime in June, when we're gonna do our show next week. Then we're gonna do May 7th, May 14th. Take 2 weeks off, and then start again on the first week of June. And that's when I'm gonna have Dave Fern come on. So you and Dave, we can hash this out. Have Debo on.
Thunderdome.
Well, because Dave. I like Dave a lot. I think you do. I think a lot of us do. But
I'm pretty big biting bad at some of the policies right now.
I'm quite mad. I would say that.
Yeah, I'm pretty big biting bad.
I'm not sure. Like if you see me and Dave's email thread or our text chains, it's just like it's confusing as fuck. Like, because I'm like, wait a second, you're like kind of a liberal dude, like that. Like seems like you like the little guy for sure, but here you are, kind of siding with the lobbyists. I'm not an expert. That's what it looks like to me. And when I call it out, of course the lobbyists give me the shit, and the politicians give me the shit. So, and I'm not really in the business of being people's friends. We want clicks.
Yeah.
Enemies give clicks.
Yeah, we want views.
So
Your $800,000 home in the Flathead will pay $1,300 more.
So mine's about
per
1.3.
year
What's that?
Than it should.
Mine's about
You're
1.3.
gonna get some money back, and you can say, "I got a little
Mine's
money back,"
1.4.
but they owed you $1,300 extra that they're
Right.
not giving
well,
you.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like a smoke and mirrors. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, I get a $400 rebate. Hey, it went up
You
$1,800
know,
bucks.
it's like jacking
What?
egg prices up to $8 a dozen, and suddenly there's $6 a dozen. It's like, "Ooh, I'm getting a good deal."
Yeah, I know. You're right.
That's all
Record
it is.
profits.
The Hong Kong Harry's School of Economics. Yeah.
Buy 10, get 10 half off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ball up hand. Have fun. Ha ha.
Thank you, Mike.
No,
Thank
I
you,
appreciate
Kevin.
it, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
Paris.
We're going to
Thank
see
you,
you
Ed.
next Wednesday in Helena. We're going to make that happen.
Come on down to
the
Helena.
room's
It's
on
gonna
me.
be
I'm going
fun.
to Butte tomorrow. I'm going to
We're
go.
gonna
Yeah,
go
you're
to
going
the
to Butte.
union.
Tell people what you're doing in Butte tomorrow.
I'm going to Butte to meet my friend Evan Barrett, who had testified on these bills, and he's got this Butte Boroughs thing, and he wants to kind of talk about what's happening at the Democratic Party, and he wants to talk about this tax thing. Want to let folks in Butte know how they're going to do. They're going to do a little better than Whitefish, I'll tell you that.
Love
Wow. Oh, they're going to do a hell of a lot better than
Oh,
Whitefish,
yes, they
obviously.
will.
Butte. Love Butte.
All right, thanks to all you guys. I want to thank Tamarack Brewing, Averill Hospitality, Dyer Need Dispensary, $100 ounces every day.
Kemosabe, thank you.
Kemosabe. Yeah, right. All right, thanks a lot, Mike. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks, Mike.